All right. Well, good morning. I'm Mayor Christina Mern, Chair of the City of Findlay City Planning Commission. We are going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Begin with roll call. Jacob, whenever you're ready. Oh, live stream is streaming. Lights are on.
Mayor Murin,
Here.
Mr. Trombley,
Here.
Mr. Embody,
Here.
and Mr. Klinger.
Here.
All right. We will now swear in anyone who plans to speak for or against an item. Please stand up and raise your right hand.
You might.
If you're speaking at
Yeah.
all, you got to be on the record, sworn
Yep.
in.
Do you affirm that all the testimony and evidence you're about to give in a case before this commission this day will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and will conform to the facts of the case and the rules of this commission? This you affirm under the pains and penalties of perjury. Please say I do.
Very good. You may be seated. We have the approval of the prior meeting minutes. Are there any amendments from what was circulated?
I didn't have any. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Hearing no other discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Minutes are approved. As you guys can see, we do have a lengthy agenda today, so I would ask that you try to keep your remarks concise, and if someone has already made your point, just say, I agree with them. You don't need to say the point again. We'll try to keep things moving while also making sure that we're being thorough. We have a lot of great stuff on the agenda today. We will begin with old item number 1, application for site plan review SP-02-2025, an application for a conditional use CU-06-2025, submitted by 7 Brew Coffee to construct a drive-through coffee shop on a new outlot at 1950 Tiffin Avenue. CPC staff comments.
Okay. So this proposed outlot would be located close to Tiffin Avenue. It's currently on 1950 Tiffin Avenue site. Otherwise, it's known as Hobby Lobby. It is zoned C2 General Commercial and is located in an area that's completely zoned C2 General Commercial. It's not located within a 100-year floodplain, and the City of Findlay Land Use Plan map designated the parcel as regional commercial. Parcel history, site's currently parking for Hobby Lobby. The site was originally presented at the March 13th, 2025 City Planning Commission meeting and given conditional approval with the following conditions. Receive a variance for the side yard setback for the canopy. Site plan. So on this side, there's a canopy. Install parking signage to indicate their parking spots, and use panel materials on the cooler structure to match the main structure. Staff analysis: since that 2025 meeting, the applicant has been trying to meet the conditions for the approval. It's been over a year since the original approval, so CPC must reapprove the plans before permits can be issued. One of the issues regarding the site was that Dick's Sporting Goods noted that they have a view shed easement on the property, which goes diagonally across the front of the site. This allows for traffic heading from the west on Tiffin Avenue to be able to see that building. Originally, the coffee shop was located in that no-build area. And so to better accommodate the easement, the applicant shifted the building further away from Tiffin Avenue. With the readjustment to the site, parking in the rear was eliminated from the lot, and they were working with Hobby Lobby to allow for the required parking to be designated on their parcel rather than this new outlot for 7 Brew. This will require a variance from the BZA. Staff did not have any concerns with that request. Regarding that space up front in the no build zone, there's now a large area in front that's currently shown as striped pavement. Staff would like to see that area curbed on the west and extended. So right here there's curbing. I'd like to see that extended down a bit and kind of wrap up to kind of discourage cars from going into that area. We propose that this area be landscaped with grass and could have some additional shrubs for the landscaping on the site. We've recently approved landscaping improvements down the street at the Sheetz gas station in Raising Cane's, so this is just another opportunity to beautify this stretch of Tiffin Avenue. So our staff recommendation, CPC recommends approval of this application for site plan review SP-02-2025 and application for conditional use CU-06-2025 submitted by 7 Brew Coffee to construct a drive-through coffee shop on a new outlot at 1950 Tiffin Avenue with the following conditions. Receive a variance for the side yard setback for the canopy and off-site parking. Install parking signage to indicate their parking spots. Use panel materials on the cooler structure to match the main structure. And work with the staff on curbing and landscaping along Tiffin Avenue.
Engineering.
So just the utility and stuff is pretty much the same as what last time is. For water, make sure that what we are hooking up to the city meter is copper, and then for the sanitary lateral, our specs within the city, we require SDR 35 instead of Schedule 40 pipe, so we'll have to change that around. And then for the access, now they had kind of this cutout right here that's going over. Sorry, I'm shaking. But I like to see that kind of smoothed out through there, so that way it doesn't have, multiple turns to it. Just they could go from, I guess, this drive access and just go real smooth right and tie up into there, so that way you don't have vehicles turning in tight and then they have to make another maneuver to go back out where someone could be coming in. So just smooth that out a little bit more. Make sure all site concrete or sidewalks are within ADA specs, but otherwise that's additional comments I have for it.
Fire prevention.
Nothing different from the prior approval, just get permits and call for inspections.
Very good. So the recommendation from staff is CPC staff recommends approval of application for zoning amendment ZA-01-2026.
Mayor, that's a typo.
I'm sorry.
Go back to those
Yes,
four
I apologize.
conditions. Sorry, I apologize on that.
No. I was going to hop back to that page to give the conditions. So the application for site plan review SP-02-2026 and application for conditional use CU-06-2025 submitted by 7 Brew Coffee to construct a drive-through coffee shop on a new outlot at 1950 Tiffin Avenue with the following conditions. Receive a variance for the side yard setback and for the canopy and parking off-site. Install parking signage to indicate their parking spots. Use panel materials on the cooler structure to match the main structure. Work with staff to add curbing and landscaping along Tiffin Avenue. So discussion. I believe the applicant's here to speak on this item. If you could just come forward.
And while they're walking up, I did present Jeremy's point about the entrance being smoothed out, and they were agreeable with that.
Perfect. That was really going to be where I was going to start the conversation, is based off of the staff recommendations, do you have any concerns with accommodating them? Okay. Very good.
There we go. I agree.
Anything from the commission?
Yes. Do we still have an access back here for traffic? I think that needs to be closed off because you've got the Hobby Lobby parking right up to your property line, and I don't want to create an access through there. Yeah, I think you can bring all the cars in here, around and back out, and turn right or left. So I would like to see that be a condition. Now, looking at the plans, it's a little hard to pick up real quick on these small plans, but is this curbed all the way along here?
I don't believe it is where the Dick's property line goes diagonal across. We're not able to do any curbing or any kind of construction along that line.
Can you show me where that line lies? Because it's not on the plans.
I've got. Nope, that's that. All right. Yeah, it's this line here.
Okay, so it's
So there's no
beyond the
curbing.
canopy.
There's no curbing here. Yes, it is beyond the canopy.
Yeah, and it's just a
It's
sight
just
line.
just that corner.
Yeah, from my perspective, Dan, I understand what you're looking for, but I think that how they have it broken out to provide the directional, I think is fine. And I think then, working with Dick's to get the easement, that's really, between them from a civil standpoint. If he's not able to obtain that, then
We can't.
they can't build it.
Right.
So that would really be between them and just something that they would have to have recorded.
Are you planning on removing the striping for parking spots?
Yes,
That'll be removed?
That'll be
Okay, so
removed.
that drive aisle will become, there'll be still one here into the site, but then if a car wanted to, they'd be able to go here.
that's correct.
Okay.
I just don't see any purpose served by that other than confusion of traffic and potential problems down the road to have that exit.
Jeremy and I were discussing that maybe it might be necessary for the trash removal because the dumpster enclosure is
Oh,
located right
okay.
there.
Yeah. Okay.
So if they have a front load, then they're going to pull straight in, probably back out, and go from there.
Okay.
Was there anyone else that wanted to speak for or against this item? If so, you just gotta stand up and raise your hand, especially if you're over here, because Carrie's head's in the way.
Car coming from here to here.
Are you having any traffic control, like a stop sign, anything, you stop bar, anything here? It looks like in the plans, there's stop bars elsewhere, but not up here.
I have to look at the plans a little bit closer. Sorry, I'm the coffee guy, not the builder guy, but I can find
Fair
out,
enough.
and if we need it, we can absolutely put
Okay.
those in.
Yeah, and we'll just note that in the
Sure,
condition,
no
is
problem.
making sure that there is proper,
Yep.
kind of signage for.
We'll manage that traffic.
I think that'd be like coming out of Chick-fil-A, how they go into a parking lot. I don't think they have a stop sign there or anything like that where it's stop controlled beyond that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they necessarily would need one since they got stop control.
They got right.
They got
Here.
stop control here, and then it would be pretty much that's where your decision point is. So I don't know if it would be necessary, but that's something they could check into.
You have lighting underneath the canopy too.
Absolutely.
What is can you talk through like what is the lighting you're having? I didn't see a photometric plan included.
They're can lights up
Like
underneath
flush
the
mounted?
lighting, flush mount.
Flush
yeah.
mounted,
Yeah.
okay. And then are you guys touching this access point at all? That's
No.
okay.
Anything else from the commission? I will motion to recommend approval of site plan SP-02-2026 and conditional use CU-06-2025 submitted by 7 Brew Coffee to construct a drive-through coffee shop on a new outlot at 1950 Tiffin Avenue with the following conditions. Receive a variance for the side yard setback for the canopy and parking off-site. Install parking signage to indicate their parking spots. Use panel materials on the cooler structure to match the main structure. Work with staff to add curbing and landscaping along Tiffin Avenue, and review on-site signage for safety. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Was there any other discussion? I don't want to rush, but this is one we've already spent a lot of time on, so might as well keep it moving. All right, hearing none. Jacob, whenever you're ready.
Mr. Trombley,
Aye.
Mr. Embody, Mr. Klinger,
Aye.
Mayor Mirren.
Aye. Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Thanks.
Moving to old item number 2, application for conditional use CU-09-2026 filed by GM Co. Ventures to establish outdoor storage behind Yellowstone Landscaping, 429 West Trenton Avenue on lots 60, 63, and 66 through 65 of the Howard Addition located on West Folk Avenue. CPC staff comments.
Mayor, if I may, we tabled this the last meetings, so I think we need to remove that from the table. So
Sounds good.
I'd make a motion to remove from the table.
I will second that motion. Any objections? Hearing none, please all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay. Item is removed from the table. Thank you, Mr. Clear. All right, CPC staff comments.
Sorry, bear with me as I open up some pictures and
Jacob, you're
mapping.
doing great. I know
I
Matt's
know.
not there to navigate and read the agenda
No.
for you, so.
Okay. Image. Okay, so the request is located on the rear of Yellowstone Landscaping Building on West Trenton Avenue. Access is on West Folk Avenue near the intersection with Maury Avenue. It's zone C2 general commercial. Along West Trenton Avenue to the north, it's an area that's C2 general commercial. And to the south, it's a mix of R3 small lot residential and O1 office institution, as it is near the University of Findlay. This location is not located within the 100-year floodplain, and the City of Findlay land use map, plan map, designates the area as general commercial. Parcel history, this site has been a part of the business to the north as a vacant gravel lot since about 2002. The applicant intends to continue using the lots as outdoor storage for the business, as evidenced in historic photos, which I'll pull up in a second. This lot has generally gone from a vacant gravel lot to a substantial outdoor storage area with trucks, equipment, and machinery for the landscape business. Staff will need a plan regarding the final outdoor storage layout to know the drive aisles and to make sure there's clearance for fire prevention. In the C2 district, outdoor storage is a conditional use. With the residential to the south of the road, staff would request a solid fence be provided on site. Currently, the front fence is a solid material. You can see in the photos. However, the sides of the lot are chain link. Staff would like to see that the solid fence continue around the sides of the site. Fencing in the front yard requires it to be 50% open, so this fence eventually will need approval by the BZA. Also, as evidenced by the street view, the landscaping business has utilized these temporary pods for storing material. The City of Findlay does not allow for these under the code for more than a temporary 30-day period at a time, so staff would require these to be removed from the site and materials be stored in something more akin to the garage there on site. So staff recommendation, staff recommends approval of the application for conditional use CU-09-2026 filed by GMCO Ventures to establish outdoor storage behind Yellowstone Landscaping at 429 West Trenton Avenue on lots 6,063 through 6,065 of the Howard Addition located on West Folk Avenue with the following conditions. Provide that solid fence around the site and receive necessary variances from the BZA.
Engineering,
No comment.
fire prevention.
We'd like to see a layout of this so that way we kind of know what's going on and have proper access.
Very good. So staff recommends approval of the application for conditional use CU-09-2026 filed by GMCO Ventures to establish outdoor storage behind Yellowstone Landscaping located at 429 West Trenton Avenue on lots 663 through 665, or 6063, 6065 of the Howard Addition located on West Folk Avenue with the following condition. Provide a solid fence around the site and receive necessary variances from BZA, and provide a final layout of the outdoor storage to the Findlay Fire Department. Discussion. We have the applicant here to speak on this item. If you could please come forward. Tell us a little bit about the project and any feedback on the recommendations from the commission.
Yeah, I think everything you guys have is captured accurately. So no issues with the shipping containers, getting those out. That won't be an issue. I guess the one clarifying question I did have, I know obviously residential's on the south side in the full screening. On like the sides where there's chain link, is there any sort of, I guess, is that with the BZA or any expectations on like the privacy screening within the chain link sufficient, or are you guys looking for continued like full fence on that end?
We don't allow the wind-breaking material, but you could seek a variance on that as well,
Okay,
if you wanted to try that.
okay.
Either way, it's gonna need a variance
Yeah, and go through the
up to a
BZA on
point. Yep.
that. Okay, yep,
I would tell you my preference would be that it be consistent fence. I think it
Yep.
looks kind of trashy when there's
Yep.
a bunch of different fence
Yep.
types. So I think if you're gonna be making the improvements, it would
Mm-hmm.
be wise to just go ahead and try to make it consistent.
yep, okay, understood.
Questions or comments from the commission?
Outdoor storage, my concern would be is if they would start storing bulk materials there, such as mulch. I think that maybe would be good to include that as a condition.
You're
talking
you're talking about like piles
Yeah,
versus
piles
bags?
of bulk, loose
Loose
mulch, yeah.
material. Yeah.
Bulk materials.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, we don't store anything on site, so we're fine with that. We don't have any intention. I mean, it's a tight yard anyway, so we really just use it for parking of trucks and trailers. So having that out there, that's not an issue for us or anything we're intending to put, given the restricted space.
Are you intending to have more containers out there for storage?
Well, ultimately, right, listening to your guys' feedback, I mean, we can move those out. I mean, like I said, we have another location we can move those out to further north. Ideally, they're there, but I think there's some of those things with the shed and some of the space in the building. We can definitely work to accommodate that.
So just on the screen here, here's the oldest aerial I could find, which is 2010, and we can see there's no fencing and it's just kind of a scrubby gravel lot. So it's definitely accumulated over the years.
Other than the parking, what are you planning on storing out there?
So just within there, and you can see like it's mostly, I would say, equipment that is in conjunction with the business. So snow plows, salt spreaders, really for the most part, is during the summertime. Honestly, is what's out there machinery wise. There may be machinery like on the equipment or on the
Sure.
trucks and trailers, but really like over the wintertime, we don't leave like mowers or any big or anything like that sitting out. That's all stored inside. So for the most part, it's it's a equipment in conjunction with the business, but mostly related to snow plows and salt spreaders.
Okay.
Do you have any other sites that you store equipment on or anything? Or is this your only site?
Not in the city of Findlay, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have other locations around Ohio, but this is it in the city.
Was there anyone here that wanted to speak for or against this item? Okay, just want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Any other comments from the commission?
No, if you're matching that existing fencing along the whole way, I think that's going to look really nice.
Okay, so I will motion to approve application for conditional use CU-09-2026 filed by GMCO Ventures to establish outdoor storage behind Yellowstone Landscaping, 429 West Trenton Avenue on lots 60, 63 through 60, 65 of the Howard Addition located on West Folk Avenue with the following conditions. Provide a solid fence around the site and receive necessary variances from BZA. Provide a final layout of the outdoor storage to the Findlay Fire Department, and don't have loose mulch stored in bulk on site. Is there a second for that motion?
I'll second.
Very good. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Jacob, whenever you're ready.
Mr. Embody,
Aye.
Mr. Klinger,
Aye.
Mayor Mirren,
Aye.
and Mr. Trombley.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, moving to item 3, application for conditional use CU-08-2025 submitted by Dedicated Trucking LLC to establish the outdoor storage located at 1725 West Lima Avenue. Was this item also tabled? Sorry, I wasn't at the last meeting, so I want to make sure I get it properly. So moving to CPC staff comments. Jacob, do you want me to read the comments for staff for you? So you can pull up all the imagery? Sure, happy to help. All right, so CPC staff comments. This site is located on the south side of Lima Avenue between the intersections with Moracle Boulevard and Gay Avenue. It is zoned I-1 light industrial. To the north, it's a mix of C2 general commercial and R3 small lot residential. To the south and east, it is zoned I-1 light industrial. The City of Findlay land use map has this property listed as neighborhood commercial. The site of 1725 Lima Avenue is currently occupied by Dedicated Trucking LLC, which has been operating on site without formal approval of a conditional use permit for its current configuration of uses, including significant outdoor storage. Dedicated Trucking LLC acquired the site in 2018. Historical aerial imagery and site observations indicate that the property previously supported a more traditional trucking operation with minimal outdoor storage. Since approximately 2018, however, the site has transitioned toward a substantially expanded outdoor storage and staging use. Staff observations and photographic documentation show a significant accumulation of semi-tractors, trailers, passenger vehicles, parts, and miscellaneous equipment stored in both organized and deteriorated condition. The current intensity and character of storage more closely resemble an outdoor salvage or junkyard type operation rather than a conventional trucking facility. The applicant was previously brought before the Planning Commission at the March 2025 CPC staff meeting regarding the legality and appropriateness of the current site conditions and was denied approval of continuation of the use. Despite this, outdoor storage activities have continued on site. The applicant's legal representative has since submitted correspondence proposing a phased approach intended to regularize the use. The proposed includes both a request for recognition of alleged historic nonconforming rights and a framework for future site organization. The applicant's proposal is divided into two phases. Phase 1 requests written confirmation from the city that prior enforcement expectations related to eliminating storage behind the fence line be rescinded and that portions of the site be recognized as legal. The proposal further seeks acknowledgement that storage, repair, and related trucking operations behind the fence are lawful based on historic use. Phase 2 outlines a 180-day compliance framework allowing continued intensive storage operations behind the fence with organized racking systems while also formalizing conditions for the front yard area. Notably, Phase 2 complements the continued placement of semi-tractors, trailers, and other commercial vehicles in the front yard area, along with limited requirements for cleanup, circulation, and organization. The city law director has reviewed the proposal and provided a formal response indicating that the city cannot recognize a grandfathering or legal nonconforming status that is not supported by documented historical use or applicable law. The current operation, as observed, does not align with the permitted trucking use as historically understood and instead reflects significant outdoor storage activity without approval. Phase 1 request is not appropriate for consideration as a conditional use request. Phase 2 proposal, while more consistent with the conditional use framework, raises substantial concerns regarding compatibility with zoning standards and may effectively constitute a junkyard type use. He encouraged them to submit a formal conditional use application for review through the established Planning Commission process. Staff concurs with the law director's assessment that the existing and proposed site conditions are not consistent with the intent of the zoning district or the standards for a trucking operation. The amount and type of materials stored outdoors, including non-operational vehicles, trailers, and miscellaneous equipment, exceed what is typically considered incidental to a trucking facility. While the property may have historically supported trucking-related activities, the current use pattern has evolved into a predominantly outdoor storage operation. The requested continuation of semi-tractors and trailers within the front yard area further exacerbates concerns regarding visual impact, site organization, and compatibility with surrounding uses. Staff are also concerned that approval of the proposed condition would effectively institutionalize a junkyard-like use without meeting the required standards or separation requirements established in local code. Based off of the findings outlined above, staff recommend denial of the conditional use request for Dedicated Trucking LLC at 1725 Lima Avenue. Staff finds that the level of outdoor storage exceeds what is typically permitted or incidental to a trucking operations. The proposal does not adequately address compatibility with surrounding properties. Approval would set a precedent inconsistent with established zoning standards and enforcement provisions. Therefore, staff recommends denial of application for conditional use CU-08-2025 submitted by Dedicated Trucking LLC to establish the outdoor storage located at 1725 West Lima Avenue. Engineering?
No comment.
Fire prevention?
We want to see a storage plan. Currently, there is zero access for our apparatus on this property. We've had multiple runs out there with issues, and then call for a fire inspection.
Very good. So as stated, staff recommends denial of application for conditional use CU-08-2025. Discussion. I think I chose the longest possible one to read. You're welcome, Jacob. Yeah, Rob?
I just want the commission to know that there are 2 pending cases in municipal court, one for junk and material storage and one for the outdoor storage rule violations that are not set for any trial at this point in time, pending how things go here and other matters that are being discussed.
Thank
Could you clarify that last comment you made too about you've had multiple runs out there? Have there been emergency responses that you've tried to respond to and been unable to?
We have had multiple calls for open burning
Okay.
that we've responded to that area. Our trucks typically have to park on Lima Avenue because we cannot access the site with our trucks. So guys are going back into that area, which is, you see it,
Right.
is a mess, trying to figure out what's going on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is the applicant or applicant representative here to speak on this item? If you could please come forward. You wanna
Good
tell
morning.
us-
Marty
If you can make
Holmes.
sure it's on as well.
I believe it is.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Marty Holmes Jr. on behalf of Mr. Loy and Dedicated Trekking. Your Honor, my understanding in coming here this morning and looking at the agenda was that we were calling up again for an additional review the application for conditional use that was submitted previously, that Mr. Loy worked with the personnel, some of the personnel here, to try to put together a framework to satisfy everyone. And I'm here because I wanted to find out what could satisfy you all that was not on the last application to try to, again, come to a mutual agreement of some kind, short of having to go to court and litigate this, because my client has rights to this property. There was pre-existing uses here that he's got rights to assert. At the same time, here to acknowledge there's some cleanup that needs to be done, and I'm sure there's some people here that are probably not too happy about how it looks currently. He's looking to improve that. We've been trying to negotiate a way, a meeting of the minds somehow. And in looking at the last proposal, if I don't know if that could be pulled up or not, this is what I'm talking about.
Is it just the former CPC approval? Yeah.
I don't know when this photograph was taken, but this photograph is the first page of the conditional use application, and it shows trailers, a number of trailers out front, also a number of vehicles out front, and the existing office trailer that was there, but it's otherwise a lot more cleaned up. Yeah, I believe that is the photograph.
So this is the 2022 aerial map. I believe in late 24, early 25, Matt sat down with Mr. Loy and kind of drew up some sort of preliminary framework for how the parking in the front could work if there was appropriate screening and setbacks were being met and things like that. So.
Yeah. So, sir, can you please remind me your name?
My name is Marty.
Thank you. So I have been involved in this situation over the last 7 years, and I understand you've been meeting with the City of Findlay team to try to work through the issues. I think the reality is that we've tried to work with Mr. Loy multiple times to clean up the site for him to be compliant. And every time he says that he has a plan and is going to implement it, and that has yet to be seen. And rather than the property improving in any way, it continues to get worse. That's unfair to the neighborhood. It's inconsistent with our code. We have been more than generous with the time and working to put plans in place. I understand you can contest whether you have any formal prior legal abilities to do that. We've not been able to find any documentation of the sort. And so if you want to contest that, the court would be the appropriate place to do so. For consideration today, the Planning Commission has to review, does it make sense for this property to continue in whatever fashion we believe it is appropriate to? And we have the ability to look at historical compliance to determine if we believe that it is in the best interest. With a conditional use, we can determine exactly what needs to occur, and that's what we've done previously. Without any success in it actually being established. So from my standpoint, I completely agree with the staff recommendation because it is unfair to not continue to hold the property owner accountable when it is continuing to negatively impact the neighborhood. So that's where I stand on this issue. Other commission members, any thoughts or feedback on this? I know a couple of you have been on the commission when this was reviewed previously.
Yeah, I remember this meeting in March of 2025, so it's more than a year ago. And there was an application for conditional use for outdoor storage. It was denied, but yet it's still looking exactly the same as it was a year ago. So asking for another 180 days, I don't understand what's going to change. We've already denied it once. You're asking us, well, just tell me what I need to do. You need to propose a solution for us to review. Right now, I don't see a solution here for us to even review.
So there was a proposal that was made, and it was made in conjunction with Matt Cornier, and it was submitted by Dedicated, but worked on and with Matt's blessing, and we came here with that. They came here with that before I was involved, and that was denied. And so my question simply is, what else can he do to open your minds to acknowledging that there are some things he can do on this property? What else from that last application was simply not enough still, despite some support from the city of Findlay? I'm just curious if there's anything else that he can do. And I understand there's two different issues here. There's the prosecution, which if they want to go forward with the prosecution, that's fine. But we can do two things at once. We can also try to figure out a long-term solution, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah, I think over a year of not completing the recommendations that we made when we made that last denial, why would we give permission for him to continue to ignore the provisions? What we need him to do is clean up his property so that we trust that he's actually going to maintain it in a reasonable fashion. We're not going to sanction him to continue to not keep his property in an orderly fashion when he is clearly violating the city zoning code and is not taking any action to show us that he has intention of actually complying. So why would we kind of sanction bad behavior? So what I need to see is it needs to be cleaned up to all the prior things and maintaining it in a reasonable fashion, providing removal of, when we talked a couple years ago, we had a whole plan that we recommended to him on cleaning it up to prior condition, removing the junk. If it's truly a trucking business, then have it be a trucking business, putting screening, putting parking area, and having access for safety services. So I'm having the same conversation. I'm having deja vu. What I need him to do is do the things that we told him to do before we would give him any consideration for a conditional use.
Well, I can tell you that if one of your conditions was putting in screening, that grass that you see in this photograph is no longer. He did put in screening all through that entire area.
Okay, so you got 1 of 5. That's
Okay.
not even a majority.
And then the other thing he's done is he's worked with the personnel here to try to figure out a plan. And we thought we had
I'd like to see action. I don't want to just keep talking about a plan.
Okay. When the plan that he thought was going to be accepted was denied, that put him in a spot of, well, if what can I do that is not going to put me in a further spot of trouble, and so obviously there's an area in front of the fence that he is intending on cleaning up. The photograph that we're seeing right here, including those barrels, a part of the proposal was to remove those barrels, but there are some things, including those trailers, that are consistent with traditional historical use of the property.
Mr. Atkins. One second, Mr. Klinger, Mr. Atkins.
Okay.
So historically, this was prior to Mr. Lloyd purchasing the property. This was a trucking company. Upon purchase of the property, he went beyond himself without any permissions to expand the parking area all the way to the right of way with no approvals at all. That's an issue.
Sir, would you agree that prior to his involvement at this property, there was a Wilson's truck and trailer repair at this property, at this location?
So
Do
clearly,
you agree with that? Was that the case?
2017, that was the grandfather condition right there. That's grandfather. The grass area was expanded upon without any approvals from the city or the city planning commission. He went beyond himself to add gravel. We don't allow gravel for parking areas in the city of Findlay. That's an issue.
Why was this property changed over then to light industrial by Matt? My understanding was it was for that for that specific reason, so that there could be gravel put down, and so that there could be the parking that was going on, so that this could be a appropriate use for my client.
No. So C2 was the prior zoning classification. I-1, Bellers Fit, the trucking company that was there prior in 2017 for Aces Trucking. Even then, gravel is not allowed for parking for what he's doing without any screening, without any approvals. It's not allowed to go up to the property line. It has to have a 10-foot buffer. It has to be approved by City Planning Commission. It has to have a fenced-in area to have gravel. All that was done without any approvals.
I understand you want to argue all the points, but what we have in front of us today is an application for conditional use to establish outdoor storage. I understand you submitted a plan with some ideas of what that looks like, but I still don't have a plan. I don't have a drawing to show me the drive aisles, to show me all the stuff you're going to do. So without that, I don't see there's much relevance talking about this. I don't have anything to approve.
I think that's a fair comment,
So-
and I guess the last question I'd have is if we come back with another proposal and there has been movement and cleanup, will it be considered? Because it sounds like it's, in light of the situation right now, it's not really being considered.
It will be considered, but I would say we need to see significant steps
Yep.
to take care of all of the issues that we've been talking about for nearly 10 years. That we keep saying, oh, yeah, we're going to fix that if you just approve this. Oh, yeah, we're going to fix that if you just approve this. And we did make some approvals. We did say, yep, here are the things you can work on. And then we still haven't seen anything improve. So that's what we will be happy to consider it, but we need to see that action is actually being taken to come into compliance, to improve the thing, that it is truly going to be a trucking company, because clearly those trucks aren't moving in and out of there with all the junk that's on
Right.
site. So that's not what is reality.
Many of them are not licensed, or nor do they appear to be roadworthy if they were licensed. So, and just looking at some of them closely, he says he uses them for storage and all, but he can't get to them because there's no way to move stuff in and out of the trailers.
And the
It's
fire
really-
department can't get to that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a year since you've been back, more than a year. I mean, that's a major problem for us. So if you're going to come back with a real plan with real action, absolutely, it'll be considered. But that's not what you have. That's not what I see in front of me today.
Fair enough, I understand. Thank you.
Was there anyone that wanted to speak for this from the public? Are you speaking for it? Because based off of what we're talking about denial. I assume you guys, I know you guys, you've been here to object to it in the past. So, yeah. So I will motion to deny conditional use CU-08-2025 submitted by Dedicated Trucking LLC to review the outdoor storage located at 1725 West Lima Avenue.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Jacob, whenever you're ready.
Mr. Klinger,
Aye.
Mayor Murin,
Aye.
Mr. Trombley,
Aye.
and Mr. Embody.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, moving to new item. Item 1, application for special review SR-01-2026 filed by Leo Brown Group to request water/sewer service for a proposed assisted living facility located at 8455 County Road 140. CPC staff comments. Do you want me to read it? Okay. Documents to show.
All right. Okay, so this request is located on the east side of County Road 140 between State Route 12 and Westfield Drive. The parcel and area is located in Liberty Township. This location is not located within a 100-year floodplain, and the City of Findlay land use map plan designates the area as multifamily. Parcel history: the site is currently has a garage on site, which you can kind of see it in the aerial, but that will be removed prior to the construction. Staff analysis: so City Planning Commission reviews any site plan that requests water sewer access from the City of Findlay. This parcel is located outside of the City of Findlay, but since they've requested the service, they are subject to review. Liberty Township has already reviewed the site plan through their zoning commission and has approved the plan. Part of the process, they worked with the county engineer to review the drainage and the pond here that's located to the northwest of the site. After discussion with the city engineer, staff had no concern with the request, so our recommendation was approval of application for special review SR 01-2026 by Leo Brown Group to request water sewer service for a proposed assisted living facility located at 8455 County Road 140.
And Jacob, just remind me, our review from the City and Planning Commission is strictly on the water and sewer access only.
Correct.
Okay.
And no zoning standards are in play on this.
Engineering?
So really no comment on it. I mean, we're working with the consultant on the water and sewer. It's going to be pretty much master metered and private through there, so not much involvement from us, but we'll continue to work with them.
Fire prevention?
No comment.
So the recommendation from CPC staff recommends approval of application for special review SR-01-2026 filed by Leo Brown Group to request water sewer services for proposed assisted living facility located at 8455 County Road 140. Discussion. Is the applicant here? If you could please come forward. If you want to add anything to the the documents, to the comments.
My name's Nathan Banker from Carmel, Indiana with Leo Brown Group. So this is a new assisted living facility, 124 units on 3 stories, a mix of studios and 1 bedrooms, full service kitchen, lots of amenities and full circulation around the site. So we're very excited to be part of the community and to get started.
Very good. Thank you. Any comments from staff? Or not from staff, from the commission?
I'd
And-
make a motion to approve.
Well, let me just ask, is
Oh.
there anybody in the,
Yes.
I just want to make sure if there's any public comment. Was there anyone that wanted to speak for or against this item? Very good. All right, Mr. Klinger, I'll allow your motion.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Hearing no other discussion, nobody's waving their arms at me. Jacob, whenever you're ready.
Mayor Murin,
Aye.
Mr. Trombley,
Aye.
Mr. Embody,
Aye.
Mr. Klinger.
Aye.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Moving to item 2, application for zoning amendment ZA-06-2026 filed by Mid-Ohio Development Corporation on behalf of Blanchard Valley Health Systems to request parcel 2300102645 on the west side of the intersection of US Route 224 and Township Road 243 to be rezoned from C1 local commercial to M2 multifamily high density. CPC staff comments.
This request is located on the north side of US Route 224 at the, this is the intersection of Township Road 243. It is currently zoned C1 local commercial. To the north and west, it's zoned M2 multifamily, which is this brown color. It's also a mix of office and local commercial west as well. To the east and south, it's Marion Township R1 single-family residential over here, and this is agriculture in the white. So the yellow is the residential. It is not located within the 100-year floodplain, and the City of Findlay land use plan map designated the area as planned mixed-use development, PMUD. So parcel history, the parcel is currently vacant. Staff analysis, the subject parcel was located within the Eastern Woods mixed-use area. Originally, the land use plan identified this area as planned mixed-use development, or PMUD. However, the zoning classification was subsequently removed from the zoning code for a period of time. Despite the removal of the PMUD designation, the areas continue to develop in a manner that's consistent with a mixed-use development pattern, which includes both office and multifamily and residential uses. Although the subject property was originally zoned C1 local commercial, development trends have not supported commercial construction on this site. The proposed rezoning request would allow for a more orderly and cohesive pattern of development that is consistent with the character of the existing area. Furthermore, the proposed multifamily zoning would provide an appropriate transition between the more intensive commercial uses located along State Route or US Route 224 and the lower density development within Marion Township to the east. So based on these factors, staff was supportive of the request. Our staff recommendation, staff recommend CPC recommend approval for the application for zoning amendment ZA-06-2026 filed by Mid-Ohio Development Corporation on behalf of Blanchard Valley Health Systems. That's the request parcel 23000-102-6450 on the west side of the intersection of US Route 224 and Township Road 243 be rezoned from C1 local commercial to M2 multifamily high density.
Engineering,
No comment.
fire prevention.
No comment.
The recommendation from staff is staff recommends approval of application for zoning amendment ZA-06-2026 filed by Mid-Ohio Development Corporation on behalf of Blanchard Valley Health Systems to request parcel 2300010266450 on the west side of the intersection of US Route 224 and Township Road 243 to be rezoned from C1 local commercial to M2 multifamily high density. Discussion. Is the applicant here to speak on this item? If you could just come forward, tell us a little bit about your request and proposed project.
Good morning. My name's Sean Murphy with Mid-Ohio Development. So we actually own and maintain currently the Eastern Woods apartments that are right here. Blanchard Valley is a partner in that. So kind of how it all came about, Blanchard Valley wanted bought out of the existing apartments here. In that same conversation, they have the condominium development here, which has opportunity for growth. So we are, in conjunction with the apartments here, looking at building out the condominium parcel that's already zoned. We've worked with the association, and this project here will be the same apartments that are here, all ranch style, age targeted, not restricted. So just single story, 6-unit and 4-unit buildings. Alongside, what we have here, there will be a pool, clubhouse, community building. So, our thought process is to combine this community with this community. We will run our personnel and management out of this community. Clubhouse, leasing agents, leasing specialists, stuff like that. So everything will run out of here. But our wait list and demand on this community kind of drove us to looking close, talking with Blanchard Valley, which is how we ended up here. So.
Very good. Questions or comments from the commission?
Did you say you're currently managing just the apartments?
Just the apartments. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And it'll be similar use and similar style
Identical.
apartments? Okay.
Identical.
I was just going to throw in, this seems like an appropriate use, a continuation in the area. I don't see any issues with it.
Great.
Less intensive use than the C1 too, so.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, my grandparents live in those condos, right, or those apartments right now, and they're
Yep.
very well maintained. And
Yep.
a continuation would be great in the area.
Yeah. Thank you.
The one thing I would mention is I know it's nice to have them be a consistent
Yep.
aesthetic, but I always like to see variation
Yep.
in buildings so that they all don't just look like little monopoly houses
Yep.
plopped down. So if
Absolutely.
you would consider that, obviously that's for later discussion. We're just talking about the zoning, but
Yeah.
just so you can preemptively think that one through.
Certainly.
Was there anyone else here that wanted to speak for or against this item? If you could just come forward and introduce yourself, please, sir. And then go ahead and share your comments. If you could also please tell us kind of if you live in the area, kind of whereabouts.
Yeah, my name is Jack Williams, and I live right there, right across the street from it. I'm glad to hear you say that it's going to be similar to what those houses up there. I was worried family high-density housing was a concern for me, and I don't know about the other folks, but I didn't want to see a bunch of 3- and 4-story brick buildings like you have clear down on Melrose across the street. That stuff over there is pretty nice, but for us out there, the traffic out there is getting worse. Shady Grove is going to be going, looks like it's going to be, I'm sure you guys are aware of that area too. The traffic's going to be busy out there, it already is. and you only got the one light, where's the egress and ingress going to be?
So for today's discussion, this is just looking at the zoning
okay. All right,
classification.
okay.
The site plan review will happen later.
All right.
And that's when they will have to provide their full set of plans like we've been talking about
Got
on
it.
some of
All
these
right.
other, and that's where they will have to
Okay.
show
All
traffic
right.
impacts,
Okay.
flow of traffic, safety
Right,
services,
okay.
all of that.
right. I just
Yep.
want to make sure you guys take this into concern about traffic.
Yep.
And our
Absolutely.
property values out there too. I don't know what that'll do to it, but it's a concern for me.
Yep, certainly understand, appreciate it.
Okay, all right,
And,
thank you
uh,
very much.
And when they submit a site plan, we will re-notify the same 500-foot buffer of
Okay. right.
the item being on the
All right,
agenda.
all right, thank you.
Anyone else? Hearing none, I will motion to approve ZA-06-2026 application for zoning amendment.
I'll second.
Very good. We have a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Jacob, whenever you're ready.
Mr. Trombley.
Aye.
Mr. Embody.
Aye.
Mr. Klinger.
Aye.
And Mayor Marin.
Aye. Thank you. Moving to item 3, application for site plan review SP-05-2026 filed by Findlay Vinyl to construct a new 13,572 square foot manufacturing and storage building at 100 Stanford Parkway. CPC staff comments.
As I'm driving here, did provide you a new site plan. The applicant has updated their parking and shifted their detention pond area to the rear of the site. So I've got that reflected in my map up here, and then those sheets in front of you are for that. Okay, so general info. This request is located on the north side of Stanford Parkway, an area that's completely zoned I-1 light industrial. Not located within the 100-year floodplain, and the City of Findlay Land Use Plan designated the parcel as industrial. Parcel history: the site currently has a 2,400 square foot utility building that's on site that was constructed in 1996. Staff analysis: the applicant is requested to construct a 13,572 square foot addition to the rear of the existing building on site. This will house storage and some manufacturing activities for the business. There is a connector corridor, kind of see here where I'm highlighting, that connects the smaller building to the proposed building in the rear. The buildings meet the setback requirements for height and just general setback restrictions for the I-1 district. So my next paragraph is kind of mute because of these just these changes. I had noted that they were not meeting the setback on the side and the front in the original plans. They have since addressed that and reduced the number of parking down to 7 spots out front. With that, they also shifted the detention to the back corner here. So with that, staff recommends approval of the application for site plan review SP-05-2026 filed by Findlay Vinyl to construct a new 13,572 square foot manufacturing and storage building at 100 Stanford Parkway without that condition for a variance.
Engineering.
We'll continue to work with the consultant on the detention calcs and where the pond is. We received the calculations after I put my comments in, so we'll continue to work with them.
Fire prevention.
We just want to make sure they get the permits and inspections they need for a building, but we have a concern with the south side of the building, that being that far back, not having access down that side. Seemed to make most sense to be on that side versus the other side.
Okay, very good. So the recommendation, staff recommends approval of application for site plan review SP-05-2026 filed by Findlay Vinyl, construct a new 13,572 square foot manufacturing and storage building at 100 Stanford Parkway with the following conditions. But which ones still apply? Just we need to get rid of the first one?
The bottom two, I think.
Bottom two. Those are good. Yeah, so just get rid of the first one. Okay. So obtain all required permits and call for inspection. Access road on south side of building for fire department access. Discussion. Is the applicant here or consultant here to speak on this item? If you could come forward, introduce yourself, and Any feedback on the comments we have provided?
Eric Trout with Peterman Associates.
Klaus Nielsen with Findlay Vinyl.
So where were you talking about an access drive?
Down the south side, right, yeah, through there. I mean, we're getting pretty far off the street to get to the back of the building. I mean, I think, my rough math, we were over 300 feet off the road.
We're enlarging the asphalt area in the front,
Okay,
but along the west side there, there's a gravel drive gonna be along there, mainly for construction, and they're gonna leave it as, for access.
that's perfect as long as you maintain it so it will support our trucks.
Very good. Any comments, questions from the commission?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I don't, two questions. First one on parking. You've got seven
Yeah.
spots? That seems light for a 13,000 square foot manufacturing. Is that, how many employees are you gonna have? And
The largest maximum shift is 6 employees.
6 employees.
It's manufacturing and warehousing. It's a mixture of both.
Okay.
They do own the building across the
Right.
street.
Yep.
So,
So there's parking available there.
yeah.
What about truck access? It doesn't seem like there's any.
There
Truck
is
access, unless I
just
missed
one
it.
overhead door.
Okay.
It's on the west side at the edge of the parking that we increased. Right there.
Okay. So is that for? Okay. So you're saying a truck is going to come in here, go to the edge of this side of the building, and this is where they're going to have a loading dock for truck access?
Right now, it's just an overhead door.
Just
to
an overhead
carry-
door, so not a loading dock. Okay. Semi truck or just box truck? Like what kind of vehicles do you anticipate? Okay.
Hey, can you guys just explain a little bit of what the manufacturing activity exactly is in the building? That might give us a little bit more comfort on.
And if you can introduce yourself, please.
I'm Paul Kett, owner of Findlay Vinyl. So essentially the purpose of this new building is going to be a lot of the warehousing because we're housing a lot of that in our current facility. So we'll do it's more of a light manufacturing with some safety cover material over there. Whereas in the current building, we do a lot of everything right now, but vinyl liners, safety covers, et cetera, et cetera. So what we're going to do is move a good portion of that over there. And the steps that we're doing for manufacturing in that building are a lot lighter duty, like cuttings, which are automated materials, and sewing machines and things like that. So you don't need as big of a shift over there. And it's just nice to have across the street instead of across town kind of thing.
So with this expansion, are you going to be expanding your manufacturing capacity in the existing building across the street?
Yes.
Awesome. Congratulations.
So,
That's
thank
good.
you.
Great to hear. Other questions or comments on the site plan? Was there anyone here that wanted to speak for or against this item? Okay. Hearing none, I will motion to approve SP-05-2026 filed by Findlay Vinyl to construct a new 13,572 square foot manufacturing and storage building at 100 Stanford Parkway with the following conditions: obtain all required permits and call for fire inspection, and maintain the access road on the south side of the building for fire department access.
Real quick, you said south side. Isn't this the west side?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
West side.
Perfect. I thought the same thing when I was saying it. I was like, I thought they
heard
said
you
west,
stop
but
for a
I just
second, yeah.
I trusted Shanice to know his directions, and it was my problem. Good at soccer, not so great at directions. Perfect. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Perfect. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Jacob, whenever you're ready.
Mr. Embody,
Aye.
Mr. Klinger,
Aye.
Mayor Murin,
Aye.
and Mr. Trump.
Aye.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Moving to item number 4, application for site plan review SP-06-2026 filed by K&K Restaurants, Inc. to demolish and reconstruct a Taco Bell restaurant at 1125 Tiffin Avenue. CPC staff comments.
I couldn't speak into it. It was too high.
I was gonna start by asking, do you live Moss, Dan?
Unfortunately, I do.
All right. So general info, this request is located on the south side of Tiffin Avenue near that intersection of Tiffin Avenue with Fostoria Avenue. It's that triangle intersection. This stretch of Tiffin Avenue is zoned C2 general commercial, not located within a 100-year floodplain, and the City of Findlay land use plan designated the parcel as regional commercial. Parcel history, the site is currently a Taco Bell. Staff analysis, like the Trenton Avenue Taco Bell we've seen previously, this proposal is to demolish and reconstruct an existing Taco Bell on the property. Unlike Trenton Avenue's location, this site will not include a double stack drive-through configuration. However, the proposed layout will increase the on-site vehicle park stacking capacity and improve circulation on site. One item that Zoning Inspector Eric Atkins noted was that there is an existing pylon sign that's located, overhangs and encroaches on the right-of-way in this middle area there. This will need to be removed and replaced with a code-compliant low-profile sign. With regard to parking, the area along the north side of the site was redesigned to include a 60-degree angle parking space in place of the existing parallel parkings that's on this north side here. While this modification resulted in 3 additional parking spaces, staff are concerned regarding the limited maneuverability in that area between the end of the proposed parking stalls and the drive-through as it comes along this way. So due to these constraints, we would recommend just leaving it as the existing parallel parking configuration for safer vehicle ingress and egress from those parking spaces. So staff recommendation, staff recommends approval of the application for site plan review SP-06-2026 filed by K&K Restaurants, Inc. to demolish and reconstruct a Taco Bell restaurant at 1125 Tiffin Avenue with the following conditions. Remove the pylon sign and replace the parking on the north side of the site back to that parallel configuration.
Engineering?
So for the access on this, I worked with Dan a couple times on this, trying to figure out how can we get it down to one drive. Can we, do 2? We got it down to 1, but the only thing is it's going to push you over into this intersection more, and I don't want to do that. I'd rather have the exit away from that intersection. So that's why we still have the two entrance or drive aprons, I guess you can say. But we're working on kind of narrowing the one up so that way it doesn't look like 2 big drive entrances for that. So that way we can delineate that a little bit more. So I'm fine with the 2. Ultimately, I like to have 1, but it's just, I think it's going to create more problems in the long run anyways. So we'll continue to work with Dan on that to shore those up, but really utilities are pretty simple through there. Talked with Water Shop already about getting that tap across. They understand what they got to do with that, so I don't have any concerns.
Fire prevention?
We just want to make sure they get the permits they need and call for inspections when they're needed.
Very good. So CPC staff recommends approval of application for site plan review SP-06-2026 filed by K&K Restaurants, Inc. to demolish and reconstruct a Taco Bell restaurant at 1125 Tiffin Avenue with the following conditions. Remove the pylon sign, replace the parking spaces on the north side of the site back to parallel parking spaces, work with engineering on the widths of the curb cuts, and schedule a fire inspection. Discussion. Dan, tell us a little bit about this project and any concerns with the recommendations.
Essentially, typically with Taco Bell, they go through a rebrand every 10, 15 years. This is going to be a new kind of prototype look of the building. I did see a couple up in Toledo. They're pretty sharp. So they're changing that, obviously, just to comply with corporate rules and regulations. It's going to sit primarily in the same spot it does today. Working with Jeremy on, the access points. Like I said, we've looked at combining them into one, making them 2. So obviously that option there, we were going to go ahead and eliminate the closest one here to allow a better traffic pattern on site. But by doing that, like Jeremy said, it puts everything closer to that intersection. Now you have in, out, in, making it a little more congested. So by reducing this, we don't have a problem doing so to make that more of a defined more of a one car in type of thing. Maintaining this one here, we want to try to make it palatable for the patrons on site to have a left turn, a right turn. Again, to kind of keep the traffic and stuff moving on site. Going back to the parallel parking spaces, typically restaurants don't like to have parallel parking spaces, but at this point here, to provide more separation between those vehicles and the new drive-through, we don't have a problem going back doing that. Sign-wise, we'll go ahead and we'll comply with that, move that out of the right-of-way and put up a new sign.
Dan, will you guys be able to put the monument sign in this location without it obstructing sight lines, or will it be set back enough where it removes some parking spots and with the parking, and that'll still meet all of our rules for parking counts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously we're compliant on parking. I would say the majority of the Taco Bell patrons are drive-through anyways. So yeah, unfortunately, we're gonna have to set that back to be 10 foot off the right-of-way. If the owners decide to try to keep it close to the right-of-way, we know we'll have to go through BZA, but I think at this point, they're okay with pushing it back.
Well, one of the nice things is with the new design, you have that visibility of the logo on the building, so you're
Correct.
going to still get good
Yeah.
high visual. So I think this looks nice, and initially I was a little concerned about the black, but I think it will actually look really sleek, and it's got so much dimension to the design. I've seen them in other places as well, and I think that they look really cool. I like all the glass. I definitely think
Yeah.
it's a more modern look. And though I do miss my 80s style nostalgia Taco Bell, it is cool to see this one be improved as well.
Yeah, the new look is sharp.
Is there any outdoor lighting? I didn't see a photometric plan.
Typically, what they'll do is they'll keep the current lighting. They'll repaint the poles,
Okay.
stuff like that. So there was no intent to have new lighting other than cleaning up the poles, make them look a little more modern and match the scheme of the building.
Are they flush mounted
Yeah,
lights
they're
today?
typical. They're knockdown lighting.
Okay.
They will have some lighting on the building, but again, all of their stuff is more decorative lighting. It's
Right.
not the
It's not to
typical
light
wall
the
packs.
world.
Right.
Yeah.
Was there anyone here that wanted to speak for or against this item? Okay. Other questions from the commission?
Yeah. Dan, do they typically have a second lane coming around here? Because right now this is separated with parking blocks, I believe. And I see that you have an access here and an access there.
There's parking blocks over here.
Oh, over there?
Yeah, they're way over there
Oh,
to
okay.
delineate those parking spaces. Obviously, there is cross access because they drive down through here to go this way. Their dumpster is accessed through here, so there's those REAs that are already set up for all of that. Right now, we have a little over 20 feet on this backside, so you can see that they've actually been using the other people's property in order to do that bypass if needed. We still have ample room between our property line and the curb in the backside of the building to allow 2 cars to go through there if needed. But obviously, we're not doing anything over here. We're meeting all of the improvements at the property line. So if they still maintain that, again, it's what's been happening and through the REAs.
So they're actually using part of the neighbor's property then, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
A little bit, correct.
I'd make a motion to, public comment, I'm sorry.
No, I asked.
You already did? Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
nobody-
I'll make a motion to approve the site plan review.
I would second that.
We have a motion and a second.
With the proposed conditions? Or
With
just-
the proposed conditions.
No, keep the proposed conditions off.
Thank you.
Very good. So we have a motion and a second with the conditions. Jacob, whenever you're ready.
Mr. Klinger,
Aye.
Mayor Moon,
Aye.
Mr. Trombley.
Aye.
And Mr. Embody.
Aye.
Very good. Thank you.
very much.
Moving to item 5. Application for site plan review SP-07-2026 filed by Cole Valley Partners to construct a new Dutch Brothers Coffee drive-through at 615 and 623 Trenton Avenue. CPC staff comments.
So, this request is located on the south side of Trenton Avenue, near the intersection with Bolton Street. This parcel is zone C2 general commercial along Trenton Avenue here. We've got it is zoned C2. To the south, there's a neighborhood of R3 small lot residential. Parcel's not located within a 100-year floodplain, and the City of Findlay Land Use Plan designates the parcel as regional commercial. Parcel history, so 615 West Trenton Avenue is a vacant commercial building. Most recently, it was an auto repair shop. 623 West Trenton Avenue was formerly an adult entertainment business. In December of 2025, staff approved a conditional use to operate a drive-through on these parcels. Staff analysis, the applicant has followed up with the conditional use approval by submitting the plans for Dutch Brothers coffee location. The building will be 1,025 square feet in size and located on the east side of the parcel. Drive-through will feature a double lane with adequate stacking available. They have provided 13 spaces, parking spaces for the business. Staff were appreciative of the amount of landscaping provided on site. There currently is not any landscaping, and the applicants have gone above and beyond in some areas, providing landscape bump outs for the parking lot, and even though it wasn't necessarily a requirement. So there is a note on the perimeter that of the site which states that an existing privacy fence is to remain. This fencing is in bad shape, and so staff would recommend a new fence be installed to further enhance the site. Additionally, I know that these currently are, I didn't have this written in there, but while I'm thinking about it, these are 4 parcels and standalone currently. We would require that they be combined into a single lot so that it's all one unified site.
Engineering?
So again, worked with Dan on this one a couple times, just because we're going, that is a busy road through there. I had 3 or 4 drives before. We're going down to 2. We tried to look to see if we could get that down to 1. Again, if you shove that drive over to 1 here, now your conflict point with the parcel to the, I guess, west of that, it's a shorter distance in between exits. So that way, that you don't have a lot of decision time within that. So we wanted to push that over. If you move the entrance over there, now they have to maneuver through the site to try to come down around the drive and around. And I feel like we're going to have a situation kind of like on Kroger on 6th Street where you're having people cross, you're having cars cross, and a lot of people stop there on 6th Street. I don't want to have the same thing happen on Trenton Avenue. I'd rather get those people off, get them into the drive, and have a cleaner exit on that. And that way we can kind of get in between both of these drives. So we did look both ways, tried to do 1 or 2. Again, just like the last one, we're going to shore up those drive entrances to make sure that it's really defined what they are. They're not these huge things. Improve those, that way it looks good. But otherwise, already talked with water about the services and stuff. They're good with that. Sewer's good, so I have no concerns.
Fire prevention?
Just make sure they get the proper permits and inspections.
Sounds good. All right, so staff recommends approval of application for site plan review SP-07-2026 filed by, am I reading the right one? Yes, okay. By Cole Valley Partners to construct a new Dutch Brothers coffee drive-through at 615, 623 Trenton Avenue with the following condition: replace the fencing along the south and west side of the site. Discussion. Dan, you want to tell us?
So essentially, the development is going to go ahead and demolish the existing structures, basically redo the entire site, clean up the area.
I'm incredibly excited about that.
As Jeremy stated, we worked with him significantly throughout the process, even starting pretty much after the conditional use to look at the access points. Again, as Jeremy stated, to get the vehicles to come in, queue into the double drive-through is key to try to get people off the road, provide double row of stacking, and then the exit would come out there. So again, I think circulation wise on site works out well, kind of cleans up everything. We do have a couple parking spaces up along here that would allow if somebody wants to come in, use the patio or whatever, they can do that as well and still have one in and basically one out. With regards to the fencing, The west side, you know, the proposal right now is to go ahead and take down the existing fence that was there. From visual, what we can tell is with the post being on our side, the fence was put up to essentially shield the previous use. With this being in a, you know, more of a commercial area, it would be our request to kind of keep that open. We have a nice, you know, grass buffer in between the two different properties. That way, you know, visibility wise, you know, everybody has good ample visibility into, out of the property, as well as trying to decide where you're going if you're coming down east and west, down Trenton or Trenton Avenue. The concern that we have on the south fence is it's actually on somebody else's property. It is not ours. At this south, kind of the southwest corner of our property, it's about 2 to 3 feet off the property line. It does angle, and it gets over to about 6 to 7 feet off the property line. So what we can do is we can work with the adjoiner to the south and see if we can go ahead and put up a fence there on our property and maybe connect it. But if they say that they don't want to have their fence redone, we don't have the authority to go through and rip it up and do it. You know, I don't think they would oppose it, but again, that's something that we have to do. Dutch Brothers have been in contact with them just periodically throughout the entire development process. So, you know, we're assuming it can be done. But again, just want to let you know if for some reason they cannot do it, my recommendation would be to go ahead and maintain the landscaping, keep their fence. If we put up parallel fences, you're not going to be able to maintain it. It's going to be unsafe. You got a pinch point. So, you know, we can work with the owner on that. And again, you know, we're going to have a relatively substantial landscape buffer because that is a residential use back there. So we're trying to be sensitive to the site. Like I said, you know, we work with engineering and everything. So essentially, we feel it's a good fit for the area, and it's obviously going to clean up the area.
So if you're able to convince them to do the fence, what kind of fence would you propose? And would it be right on the property line if you do a new one?
Yeah, typically we would want to put it right on the property line. That way there's no ambiguity on who owns what type of thing.
Yep.
And I know to go with the mayor, I know she likes to see vinyl fencing. So we've proposed to the owners to do a vinyl fence back there if, because again, longevity wise, it's a better thing. You don't have the repaired stuff that's needed on a typical wooden fence. But again, we're going to need to kind of work with the owner to see what they want to do, and what we can do is we can notify the, because we're going to need a fence permit anyways. So we can notify the administration on what was decided with the property owner. If we do a vinyl, we'll have a couple small sections of board-on-board fence to tie into what they currently have, so you don't have a C-shaped vinyl tying into their wooden fence. So again, that's something that we'll have to work out with them.
Very good.
And Eric and I did discuss that west side of the site, and we agreed that it's better that it would go away rather than replacing it. So the condition
again, that's-
should be amended a little bit. To
That's
address
something that, we, you know, again, we can work with the property owner. If I believe he's sitting right next to us as well, too. I'm sure he's gonna, may have some things to say, but again, you know, we want to work with the area, not against them.
Yeah, no, I think that this is a huge improvement to this corridor, and it's been great to see reinvestment in this area over the last couple of years. And, you know, though I don't understand how we can have so many coffee shops in one area, that is always beyond me, but I hear that is how things work, and that co-location actually drives traffic to the businesses, and everybody benefits. So I trust you all to know your businesses.
Yes, I will note that I did receive 2 letters of opposition to the project, and it wasn't anything to do with the site plan details. It was just strictly that they were coffee shop owners in the area that didn't want competition.
Yeah.
So.
Were they locally owned coffee shops or other brands on Trenton? Okay, very good, thank you. Was there anyone that wanted to speak for or against this? If you come up and just introduce yourself, please, sir, since you're on the record.
Hello, my name's Mark Reinick. I'm the owner of Mr. Twister there. I guess that would be to the west of the property line. If we could get that last photo back up. So yes, I own Mr. Twister right here. So, and I own this back lot, you know, it's part of Mr. Twister. So this whole corner right here, which he talked about, I guess I'm excited that the adult mart's not there anymore. So we'll just put that first and foremost. there is a fence, wooden fence that's there. Obviously, there is, I guess, been a bit of contention of the front half of the fence, which is currently blown down because it just got blown down like a month ago. That is actually like 2 feet closer to the property this way. And then the back half of the fence where the telephone pole, there's like a telephone pole right there, staggers 2 feet. That looks like it's on my property line. And from my understanding, the Miller family, who has the Archies on, this used to be Archies too, the back end of the fence blew down. Now the Adult Mart didn't put it back up in the time frame that they wanted it put up, so he put it back up himself. And so that's why it looks like it's staggered. And the post holes that are on the back end of the fence are into asphalt, which there's no really asphalt like on the other side of the property. So I was kind of looking where the actual zoning, where the property line actually goes, and then just to figure out what the game plan was with the fence.
So are you okay with it just being removed completely? The fence on the western side?
I think so. Like the fence on the western side now, I kind of use a little bit. I have some like signs and stuff like that have pictures of some of our ice cream sundaes and stuff like that. So, I mean, ideally, if there is a fence there, I still want to use part of it, or would put my own fence up so I could do that.
Yeah, because like from my perspective, I think it will look nicer cleaning up
Yeah,
the sightlines
I just
for
like
that
to take it
area.
all down,
And so
yeah.
I think that that would be our recommendation, is to remove that. And personally, like, you might have some parents, you know, that are getting ice cream and then want to walk across and grab
there
a
was
coffee.
no
and,
fence there at all.
Yeah.
That's our
that's the
goal, is
proposal.
to remove that fence in its entirety because, like you said, it does deviate on the property line.
Yeah.
And you can look at it, and again, this is a problem with wooden fences, is over the years, if they're not maintained properly, your 4x4 posts start to bend and twist.
They didn't ever put cement. They just dug them in and put them in there. The back half of the fence, that's pretty good. But yeah, I'd be interested in having, the whole thing removed. And then obviously the back fence here is in horrible condition. And I think, I'm on the, I think that I wouldn't consider that my fence. The property lines are
Right.
staggered on the back of it, so whatever you guys did with that, I don't care.
Yeah.
either.
And like I said, we realize that, the fence is in disrepair, it needs to be cleaned up. And that's, we're not disputing that by no means, it's just making sure that we coordinate with property owners because again, of the fence not being on our property, we just don't have the rights just to go do it without getting into some type of legal, without like
Yeah.
the proper
No,
coordination.
that makes sense. Well, one thing, because it wouldn't be a CPC meeting without me saying this, this would not be a requirement, but this also would be a cool opportunity if there could be some trees or something between the two properties. Maybe there could be a nice little landscaping strip between those two to add some greenery in the concrete jungle that we have going on through there.
We do have a grass strip in between what would be our new parking lot and that. The reason we did not put up landscaping is to be consistent with everything that else is down there. Because when the oil shop came in, there's nothing in between there. Looking across the street, there wasn't a whole lot of definition between the properties other than a grass buffer. So that's what we're kind of proposing now. Again, with landscaping, if that's something that you guys are going to request, we can look into it. But again, we're just trying to keep consistent with what's going on. We've put a heavy row against the residential. We have some bump outs and stuff on the site, for the interior parking lot. So we're trying to, clean it up the best we can. But again, sometimes small shrubbery and trees in between that small strip creates issues for both parties. But again, I think that's something that we can kind of discuss if you guys feel that it's necessary.
I think just that's not something that I'm going to put a condition on or anything, but I think just as you guys are working through and removing fences and making that area look more approachable and nice, that's a good opportunity.
And then I'm imagining, the grass strip that's going to be between the two properties, if we're removing the whole fence, I'm imagining it's going to be curbed on the one side of
Our
the,
side
on
we
that
have
side.
curb,
Yep.
And obviously your your side will still just be the pavement and the grass.
Yep.
We've looked at the grading and everything, and we're gonna make sure that water's not ponding on your property and it's coming onto ours, and I think we have, a catch basin kind of down in that bottom left-hand corner, or redoing the grading to make sure we don't trap water on adjacent properties.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Was there anyone else that wanted to speak for or against this item? Very good.
Dan, you're going to have outdoor lighting?
Yes.
Okay. Can we have one of the conditions just be a photometric plan submitted and approved by staff?
Okay. Yes, we have one, we can go ahead and get it soon.
She asked about trees, I ask about lighting. This is how this works.
Yeah, no problem. Yes, it will be, and again, it's gonna be,
What's
it's gonna
around
be
it,
compliant. They're gonna be probably, your typical 20-foot box-style lights shining down, going inward, gotta be sensitive to the other neighbors
Yep.
and stuff as well.
Yep.
So it'll be in compliance with code.
Perfect. Thank you.
Very good.
On the drive-through lanes, you've got 2 menu boards on each lane. Are those, do you order from those, or is it just a menu board?
I can take that question. I'll
Yeah.
take this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Brooke Donahue. I'm with Coal Valley Partners. Really excited about this project. So the menu boards, Dutch Bros does not, they're not like speaker boxes where you order, but they will have, just a menu and display of their seasonal offerings. The way that ordering is done at Dutch Bros, employees called runners come with tablets to the vehicles and take their order there, and they process payment there as well.
Okay. Dan, also on back on that green strip, being 5 foot wide there, it just seems to me it'd be desirable to have a little something there to, other than just grass, just to keep people from kind of getting off the pavement of the twisters onto your property and that sort of thing. But work with that.
We can definitely do that.
Yeah. One other thing, as a condition, do we need to have that condition that the sites be combined? That needs to be part of it? Yeah.
Yes,
did-
I would
did
recommend
write
it.
that down. That's,
Okay.
that's common.
Yes. Right.
Sorry, say that again. I did not hear.
Combine the lots.
Yeah. As a condition, yes.
Yeah, currently they're 4 separate lots, and so
Yeah.
we want it to function as one site.
No, that's good. I just want to write it down so I can make sure I got my motion correct.
And this is a sharp elevation. This is going to look real nice
Yeah.
and be a big improvement. So appreciate it. Looking forward to the project.
Living on the north end, I'm excited about it.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, I will motion to approve site plan review SP-07-2026 filed by Coal Valley Partners to construct a new Dutch Brothers Coffee drive-through at 615 and 623 Trenton Avenue with the following conditions. Work with Southern Properties to replace fencing as possible, recognizing you can't do it if it's not yours. Combine the lots and submit the photometrics plan if that has not already been submitted.
Would it be appropriate to add if the southern fence owners are unagreeable or don't want to work on it, to have landscaping with the city, with staff as an alternate for that?
Well, you have landscaping.
got quite a
It's already there.
Regardless, we're gonna maintain the landscaping that
Okay.
we have shown on our plans.
Yeah, I think that would be good. All right, was there a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
We also on here have scheduled fire inspection. Is that still part of the conditions?
Yeah, we can
Okay.
put that as a condition,
Yeah.
that they have to do that regardless if they want to get their occupancy permit. So
Right.
everybody's got to do that. All right, hearing no other items, Jacob, whenever you're ready.
All right. Mayor Marin,
Aye.
Mr. Trombley.
Aye.
Mr. Embody.
Aye.
Mr. Klinger.
Aye.
Again, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Chugging along. Doing good, guys.
Oh.
We're a little more than halfway, I think.
As I look into the crowd, our applicant is not present for this alley vacation request.
Oh.
How,
Just to confirm, is there a representative here for item 6, alley/street vacation, AV-01-2026, filed by Nestor Huerta? No, nobody's here for that?
So-
I'll make a motion to table it till the next meeting.
So, in my staff report, I did recommend denial just because we have talked with staff about, there are other options rather than vacating the, I can go, I don't know if you want me to go through it without him present or not, but.
So technically, we are not, there's no requirement that the applicant attend. We always tell them they should attend, but if we are going to deny it, I feel like it would make sense to instead have a quick conversation, deny it, and therefore work with him, if you guys are okay with that, rather than table it.
Wait, say that again? You wanna, we've got, it's on for review now, so either we can table it or deny it or approve it. If you wanna talk with him, we should table it.
Well, no, I don't need to talk to him. The staff have, okay, so.
Yeah, you want me to?
Let's go through
I'll
real quick.
go through it.
No, I read through it. I understand. I guess
Yeah.
my point was, I prefer to let the owner or the applicant have an opportunity to speak rather than just deny him the first time he's on. So that would be my preference. You know,
Yeah, that's fine with me. I think he didn't come because he read the report and we've talked to him and been like, we recommended he not even apply for this.
Yeah.
So, but that's fine. We can table it, give him the option, and if he wants to, we can just remove it. So, okay. Well, then I will.
And I'm trying to remember my packet. There's a lot of items. Was the letter that he included part of the
I believe
narrative?
so, if I remember right.
So,
I think there was.
you know, this whole thing started because he has a dog, and when he went to get the fence permit, he wanted to put it exactly on the property line, but with the setback requirement, it would be about right here.
So I'll go ahead and motion that we table application AV-01-2026.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, yes, Mr. Law Director?
Doesn't matter whether I say it now or after you do make your vote, but so your recommendation will show that you tabled it
Yes.
for it to give him a chance, because if he's not here next time, then to me he's abandoned
Right.
his application. Okay.
Yeah, and what we'll do is we'll just follow up and say, hey, since you weren't here, tabled it. Would you like to proceed, or would you like to work through the other options that we've recommended? So, all right, Jacob?
Okay.
Oh, I'm just for roll call on that, yeah.
Mr. Trombley.
Aye.
Mr. Embody.
Aye.
Mr. Klinger.
Aye.
And Mayor Mirren.
Aye. All right, moving to item 7, application for site plan review SP-08-2026, and application for conditional use CU-11-2026, filed by Sean Hoover to construct 4 storage buildings totaling 38,880 square feet at 2351 Keith Parkway. CPC staff comments. Do you want me to start reading? Okay.
So this request is located on the east side of Keith Parkway, parcel zoned I-1 light industrial. To the south, inside the city of Findlay, the area is zoned C2 general commercial. To the north, it is zoned I-1 light industrial. To the southwest, there is some zoning of M2 multifamily high density. However, that area is currently vacant. To the east in Marion Township, it is zoned B3 general business. Is not located within this 100-year floodplain, and the City of Findlay land use plan designated the parcel as regional commercial. Parcel history site is currently vacant, and the parcel went through CPC in March 2026 to approve a rezoning request from C2 general commercial to I-1 light industrial. Staff analysis: the applicant has submitted a site plan for a new self-storage facility measuring 38,880 square feet in size. This will be broken down into 4 buildings, 2 northern ones measuring 3,500 square feet in size, and the buildings in the middle and the south measuring 11,000 square feet each. The northwest building has a side area setback of 15 feet rather than the I-1 standard of 30 feet. This will need a variance, or the building needs to be reduced to meet that setback. No landscaping was provided besides a grass area that was indicated. Staff would note that there are screening standards when industrial butts commercial. Staff would recommend level 2 option 1, which states 4 canopy trees and 4 evergreen trees per 100 lineal feet of contiguous boundary with a conflicting zoning district or use. In this case, staff would request that the screening be provided along the east, south, and west boundaries of the site. The applicant indicated that the east side of the site would also have a shared access with the parcel to the west in Marion Township, right there. So the applicant can work with staff on the placement of landscaping on the east side of the site. Photometric sheet was provided. Staff would just add that as a condition that all lighting shall be shielded and directed away from adjacent properties. Building elevations were not provided with this application, so staff would require that those elevations be submitted and approved by staff. With the self-storage facility, there is an inherent concern regarding the potential for items or materials to be stored outside of the enclosed units. Given the limited amount of remaining open space on site, staff recommends a condition expressly prohibiting outdoor storage in order to minimize the likelihood of such activity occurring and maintaining the overall appearance and functionality of the development. Staff recommendation. Staff recommends approval of the application for site plan approval or site plan review, SP-08-2026, and this should be noted that outdoor or self-storage facilities are now a conditional use in the I-1 district, so that's why I had to add it as a second item there. So application for conditional use CU-11-2026, filed by Sean Hoover to construct 4 outdoor storage buildings totaling 38,880 square feet at 2351 Keith Parkway with the following conditions. Reduce the northwest building to meet the side yard setback of 30 feet. All lighting shall be fully shielded and directed away from adjacent properties. Work with HRPC staff to approve building elevations, no outdoor storage permitted on site, and provide level 2 option 1 screening along the south end of the site and the west end of the site.
Engineering.
So the access drive, I mean, I don't love it because it's big, but I think I'm being selfish because if I ever have to resurface that road, that's a big driveway. But it's just, I looked at it a couple ways. Can we break it up? Can we make it smaller? But I think if you break it up, you're going to have tapers. People, trying to get through there with trucks and trailer, it's going to be a problem anyways. So ultimately, I think we're all right with that. It's just for the site logistics within, it's going to help. The sidewalk, though, we did extend that as part of the Friends expansion, so we'll have to extend the sidewalk through, make sure that's all ADA through the driveway and stuff. But really, it's a pretty simple project from my end.
So Jeremy, just point of clarification, when you say the sidewalk expansion, that is part of development.
Yeah, as part of their development, they'll have to tie into where Friends stopped at the property line and then take that around to their property line. So the next developer will have to follow around.
Just wanted to confirm.
Yes.
Very good. Fire prevention.
We're going to stick consistent. We're going to go with permits and inspections for this project.
Should have just recorded yourself saying it. Just push play. Very good. So discussion. The recommendation before the commission is staff recommends approval of application for site plan review SP-08-2026 and application for conditional use CU-11-2026 filed by Sean Hoover to construct 4 storage buildings totaling 38,880 square feet at 2351 Keith Parkway with the following conditions. Reduce the northwest building to meet the side yard setback of 30 feet. All lighting should be fully shielded and directed away from adjacent properties. Work with HRPC staff to approve building elevations. No outdoor storage permitted on site. Provide level 2 option 1 screening along the south end of the site as well as the west side of the parcel. Did you also want east? When you were saying that, I was thinking that you said east,
in
south,
my staff,
and west.
I said east. However, I do know that there's some access agreements being worked out for the business over here as well. So I'm not entirely sure what what's available over there. So that's why I didn't include it.
That's fine. So we'll keep it as south and west. And then obtain all required permits. I think that's good. Discussion. Anything you'd like to add? Any concerns with our recommendations?
No, my only request that we could get a variance for the end so we could fully build out to that 15 feet. That's really the only thing we would try to get a variance for. Everything else we're in agreement with and no problem at all.
Yeah, so you would just need to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals on that if you're not able to comply. So we'll keep our recommendation. It just won't apply if you
Okay.
get the variance.
Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, go for it, Dan.
On these buildings, are they metal buildings going to have a gabled roof or sloped roof or?
They're metal buildings. They're for boat and RV.
Okay.
They're not regular self-storage. So if you look at the very top two buildings, that is 16 foot at the peak, runs back to 15 foot. And then the other two are at 14 foot and they run back to 13 foot.
So it's a single slope roof on them. My concern would be is that all that roof draining off into that 15-foot strip, you're now throwing water onto the adjacent property. And I think that we ought to have a perimeter drain system on the backside of those buildings so that you're not draining onto their property.
I guess on the plans we submitted for drainage, I guess that would be, we would need an approval for them anyway, right? I mean.
Yeah, I mean, we'll work with them on that.
Okay.
On that. I mean, it's a regional detention pond, but we can work. I mean, as from property to property, they got to ensure they don't push water off on someone else.
Right, either a swale
Right.
going around to the catch basins and parking or underground drainage system.
Yeah, we'll finalize that with
Okay.
them.
There's a lot of open items here. The lighting plan, I know you submitted it. We don't have it. There's the screening, there's the elevations. I think there's too many open items and questions that I have that I'd like to see to approve a conditional use today. Yeah, like I said, I'd be happy with letting you work with staff on it for a regular site plan review, but for conditional use, those are some things that I'd like to see and review.
We submitted the photometrics, so I'm not really sure what happened.
Can you tell us a little bit, so we talked about the gabling of the roof or the design of the roof. What is kind of the elevation, design, colors of the building?
So right down the street, we own, it's Ohio Store and Lock. We do self-storage. It's white, yellow, and black, so it matches every facility we have here in Northwest Ohio. We just decided that there was more need in the boat RV is the reason we did this location just down the street from where we're currently at. Yeah, Tracti is one of the biggest builders in storage, especially in the boat RV right now, and that's who we use for all of ours.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of outdoor storage units like this. However, I am excited to hear that they are the boat and RV because I also don't like a bunch of boats and RVs scattered through neighborhoods. It causes a lot of neighbor disputes that I get calls about. So I do think that is a useful thing, and I think that overall this is a good location for it because it is more of a kind of commercial bleed over neighborhood.
Are each one of those individual units for a boat or RV?
Correct.
How wide are those units?
So the ones at the bottom, I believe those are 14 foot, and then the ones at the top, I believe, are 16 foot wide. The bigger ones that are 50 foot long, you see a little bit taller and a little bit bigger when you get the real large Class A RVs.
Yeah.
So that's the reason there's two different sizes.
So Jacob, I am not intimately familiar with the design of the building that he was talking about for storage units. I don't know if you're familiar with them or had any elevations that were consistent with kind of how does that match up
Is
to
there
our.
is there a facility on
We have one
Romick?
we have one in Tiffin.
Tiffin?
Yep.
And did you well, I'll hold off my other question.
You have too many tabs.
Yeah.
Knowing our security probably won't let you visit it. Seems like every website I try to open these days.
If you look at
is blocked.
Google Maps, maybe.
I can't watch. It make me dizzy.
It's right there on Romick. But if you want to see the actual boat RV, it'd be the one in Tiffin off of Hudson or Washington Street.
You guys own that as well, and you're doing the same
Yeah.
same design. Okay.
Yeah.
Just type in Hudson Street, Tiffin, Ohio. Should get you to the general area. The battery's dying in it. People leave it on a lot. But that's not the same design. Right? You said
Yeah,
that
it's-
you
no.
want to see the design, it's the one in Tiffin. Do you want me to go into the room and type it? Yeah. I can do it. Just have to yell at me to navigate wherever. Do you know the specific address
What's-
in the Tiffin location?
I think it comes up as 75 Hudson, but it's right across from Fort Ball Pizza. If you type that in, it's probably quickest.
What is it for? What'd you say? The
Fort Ball Pizza.
Fort
It's right
Ball
across the
Pizza.
street from that in Tiffin.
The yellow doors.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep. It's at the top there of the screen, right? Yep, right in that area, yep. So you see the building to the left of the car wash?
Yep,
That's
right there.
Right there, yep. We don't own that, but yeah.
So it's just a flat roof.
It's a 1 foot slope back.
1
Yeah.
foot slope back
Yep.
for some drainage. Okay.
And we have a gutter in the rear, catches all the water, feeds back to the drainage. That's how we address that. That way it doesn't drip on the people when it slopes to the back and they're there
Okay.
working.
And you had mentioned that you were trying to do cross access because you own the property to the east, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And what are the plans for cross access?
Driving basically from the rear of that property across out to Keith Parkway.
Because you have
Because these are
commercial vehicles on that,
Gotcha.
on your eastern property, correct?
Yeah, well, we don't really operate only in snow season out of the rear of that property. So all of our equipment loaders, they go out to site once a year, basically November 1st they're all set, then they come back, it's like April 15th, May 1st. And then we just store, that's all storage back there. So we have all them loaders that sit outside as well right now. Part of this is we want to put those loaders inside these as well, since we own both, and the cost of those loaders is expensive, and I don't like them
Yeah.
sitting outside. So that's the reason, kind of this joint project.
But you won't have traffic into the storage area transversing into the.
No, we would like to have a gated area. We don't want
Okay.
anyone coming back onto our property at
Yeah.
all. Really, the only time that would be a move we go through is the middle of the night, when salt trucks are gonna run, that we basically can go out that way to distribution instead of going back out through Bright Road. Don't really care for that exit out of there. It's rather steep, quite
Yeah.
honestly, for our trucks.
So when you have equipment, you're going to come out here to Keith Parkway and
Yep,
down.
yep.
Can you go back to the? Yeah. No, that's right. Okay, so you are saying you want your folks to be able to come through?
Not
figure
the
out-
bottom one, sorry, right
the
there.
bottom?
Just the bottom one.
Yep,
Okay,
just that one.
so are we requiring fencing along here? I know we had the landscaping, but were we doing fencing? Nobody's listening to me.
I'm listening.
I'm listening.
Typical, I'm just kidding.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Well, we actually have another parcel there now. Yep, so Flight House is a separate one, then we have this parcel, which is owned by Service Loop, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, So what fencing are we having along here at this point? I didn't see that. There was none. But you're planning to put fencing so that you're restricting people from going onto your
Correct.
property?
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna need to add a condition of fencing. What type of fencing were you planning to put there?
We typically use like a horse fence in black, and then we do a metal gate. It's easy to swing open and close. That's what we like to use at our properties.
Okay. Eric? Because it's too commercial, is that compliant?
I mean, I would prefer if he wants to go black, it'd be aluminum. With some kind, I don't know, horse fencing. I'm guessing it's a 3-rail.
It's the wood, it's like 6x6.
Aluminum fencing is what you typically see around most of the storage units that we have in the city whenever we require fencing. So.
So I have no issues with the overall project proposal, but I think I'm gonna agree with Carrie on this one, that I think there's too many open items that I'd like to see updated, and including, I'm not a huge fan of the elevation of the building, but I think if we could see something that shows how it will look from the street, because I think that if there was something, you know, a little bit of landscaping here and landscaping there that blocks it from just being big old white and yellow buildings, I think that that is probably okay. But I would be a little concerned, you know, and you could do maybe some nice signage on the end or something that will make the aesthetics look nicer.
Well, the current building blocks the entire project almost. So, yeah, I get it, but that building comes all the way out and it's taller than our 16-foot building.
But not from this direction. Like if you're
This-
driving here, there's nothing there right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And that is, multifamily there.
And we have had multiple calls in regards to that parcel over the past couple of years. So screening would be nice from the front.
Yeah, so I think we need to work through a couple things.
That's fine.
Is that okay? Yeah, I hate to delay people's timelines if you had something specific, but I think we need to work through a couple more items. And, you know, talk with staff and they can give you some recommendations on what we typically like to see. So with that, I will, yes, Aaron?
And then also that gives them an opportunity for the June BZA meeting to get, seek the variance at the same time. That way it's on the same path.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, I will motion to table application SP-08-2026 and application CU-11-2026 filed by Sean Hoover to construct 4 storage buildings totaling 38,880 square feet at 2351 Keith Parkway with the following condition. Well, I'm just tabling, so I'm not gonna read all the conditions. You're gonna fix all the conditions. So I motion to table.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Hearing none. Jacob, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Mr. Trombley.
Aye.
Mr. Embody.
Aye.
Mr. Klinger.
Aye.
Mayor Marin.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Quick question, when is the June meeting?
Yeah, 10th,
Tuesday?
June 10th.
11. I think.
The 11th,
It's like Thursday.
11th?
Sorry, I don't know what day it is.
June 11th.
Can I send someone else? I'll be out of the country
Yeah,
to
yeah.
represent.
Hopefully
Okay.
somewhere fun.
Okay, yeah.
So yes, you can have somebody else present.
Okay, thank you. I'll stay up here for the next.
Oh.
Oh, that's,
All right. Let me make sure I didn't turn the wrong page here. So item 9, application for zoning amendment ZA-07-2026 for a text amendment to amend the Findlay zoning. Is this the correct one?
No.
I was gonna
Number
say, I
8.
think I skipped one.
Yep.
My apologies, I've got too many pieces of paper over here. Let's try number 8, application for conditional use CU-04-2026 filed by Simple Basics LLC to establish a contractor shop and associated outdoor storage at 126 Lots Avenue. CPC staff comments.
This request is located on the north side of Lode Street, just to the west of the intersection with North Main Street. Parcel zone C2 general commercial. Properties along North Main are zoned C2 general commercial. To the north is CD condominium. Neighborhood to the west and south is R2 medium lot residential. it is not located within the 100-year floodplain. Parcel history, this building went through CPC approval in October of 2023. Time the building was proposed as a storage building for the Balsius countertops or Cambria, whatever they're called, at 3100 North Main Street. This was approved at Planning Commission with the Planning Commission staff working with the applicant to maximize landscaping. And since that approval, the construction of the building, they've sold it to Simple Basics for a contractor shop. So staff analysis at the February 2026 CPC meeting, site plan was approved with the following conditions. Submit the photometric sheet for the site with the final permits, work with staff to reduce the number of lights on the building, install a 6-foot high fence that stretches from the front of the building line of 128 Lotes Avenue to the existing fence line at 128 Lotes. Provide arborvitae and appropriate landscaping along Lotes to screen and shield the parking lot. Schedule the fire inspection, restriction of hours of operation from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And if tanks are stored on site, install a barrier to protect them from vehicles. Since since that planning commission meeting, we've been working with the applicant on to address the required conditions of approval. I have a picture of the lights so that we can see that they have been reduced in number. If I can scroll. So previously they were all kind of lined up along the top here, so we are down to these two. However, we do have this one on the side now.
That one was there though, right?
Was it?
Yeah, it was there.
Okay. The number of exterior lights on the front facade has been reduced to 2, and a photometric sheet was submitted for review. Get that one. Okay, thank you. During the same period, gravel storage area was installed on the east side of the site. See here, and the tanks were moved to that gravel area with some steel protective barriers intended to provide vehicle protection. At staff's request, the tanks were subsequently relocated back to the west side of the building to improve the visual screening from the adjacent properties. The applicant has complied with this request. However, he's expressed an interest of putting those tanks at that back on the east side of the site in the future. Let me go back to today's photo. So this is kind of that gravel area where he wanted the tanks. We had him move them back to where they were on the west side. So that's where they are currently today. Staff recommends that the tanks remain on the west side with appropriate bollard protection, or alternatively, if they're placed on the east side, if the placement is ultimately decided to be on the east side, that they be fully enclosed with a structure similar to a dumpster enclosure to provide adequate screening and protection. In the interim, staff has provided example of bollard installations that will improve the vehicle impact. These rods are fairly narrow, and we were envisioning something that's similar to what you see outside here, where they're those big, thick bollards, essentially. So, a joint site visit was conducted by staff, including zoning inspector Eric Adkins and fire inspector Kevin Chenise. Based on the observations from the site visit, staff recommends one of the following approaches to address the screening on Lotes. Installation of a wooden fence along Lotes Avenue, or submission of an enhanced landscaping plan that provides immediate and effective visual screening. Switch back to one of these other photos here. So we're kind of talking about this area right in front. Given the subject property's commercial use directly adjacent to a residential development, staff has sought to balance operational flexibility with the need to minimize visual and functional impacts on neighboring properties. Additionally, Matt Cordonier has recommended that the landscape plan include 3 2-inch caliper trees within that landscaped area to enhance screening and long-term buffering. Staff has updated the recommended condition as follows. Staff recommendation: Staff recommends approval of the application for conditional use CU-04-2026 filed by Simple Basics LLC to establish a contractor shop associated outdoor storage at 126 Lotz Avenue with the following conditions. Work with staff to reduce the lights, which has been accomplished. Install a 6-foot high fence that stretches along the front of the building line of 128 Lotz Avenue to the existing fence line on site. The tanks to be protected by vehicle bollards on the west side of the site, or tanks need to be inside an enclosure on the east side of the site. Landscaping along Lotz must either install a wooden fence along Lotz or provide enhanced landscaping plan to provide immediate effective screening. Schedule a fire inspection and restriction of the hours remaining the same as 6 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Engineering.
No comment.
And fire prevention had to step out, but they, again, need to call for fire inspections and, again, making sure that the fuel tanks have protection from vehicles. So staff recommends approval of the application for conditional use CU-04-2026 filed by Simple Basics LLC to establish a contractor shop and associate outdoor storage at 126 Lotz Avenue with the following conditions. All of the ones that Jacob already mentioned. So discussion, thoughts on the recommendations?
So when we originally had this meeting, I assumed the neighbor, which is Joe and Donna Ferris there to the left of our building, were complaining about our operation. Well, it didn't seem to be so because we talked about putting a fence there, but the fence doesn't do anything and they weren't requesting that. So I didn't feel we need to, even though I already paid for a permit and did that. Don't feel putting a fence there doesn't really do anything. As far as if you look at that property and how it's being taken care of anyway, it's not going to matter in terms of that fence. Putting it across the front, I'm all good with the trees and the landscaping, but I got an email back saying we're in an impasse when I submitted the trees and the landscaping. I wasn't at an impasse, I just wanted to get an approval for the landscaping in the front. In regards to the fuel tanks, safety was the concern. It's more difficult to get into those fuel tanks where they're sitting as far as trucks. Pulling up parallel to them makes more sense than coming in at an angle. So I'm okay with doing an enclosure there. I'd love to have them on that side. But that's kind of where we ended up. We have one neighbor that is, I mean, obviously I didn't build this building. I inherited this problem. I said what I was going to do when I purchased this building. But there's one person that just doesn't like this building, this business, or whatever's happened. Matter of fact, I had an inspection there this week from the Ohio Department of Agriculture for inspection because someone called in and complained that we had improper chemical handling at our facility. So we went under audit and investigation, which we cleared and did everything. So at this point, I'm very frustrated with, I don't feel like we're gonna like make this person happy, and I don't know how long this is gonna continue, no matter what I really do. And I'm happy to do it, I just feel like we're gonna end up back here.
So can you guys just walk me through as a reminder? So initially, a couple of thoughts. Initially, I liked the tanks being on the western side, again, just because then they're just not as visible from the street. But I understand the safety concerns, and I think having it away from a residential property does make more sense from a safety standpoint. However, I would definitely need the enclosure. I think something would be appropriate. So that's thought one. On the fencing, I don't think that the main concerns or the complaints are that property based off of what I've heard. But I do think that to be consistent, having a fence along that western side would be appropriate. I know you're making me dizzy again and making me second guess my directions. So along that side, from the landscaping plan, I guess what was staff concerns with the proposed landscaping plan?
Sorry, I'm speaking kind of for Matt here. I know he's been the lead on this. So on the site map, I can find it again. So this was the proposed landscaping in this area. And I believe I believe Matt thought that this wasn't substantial enough to provide enough screening for the house.
We resubmitted we resubmitted because when you guys came out and did the inspection of the building and had the fire there and we did the things inside with the extinguishers and the other things, you guys sent me pictures, which I have, of where you wanted the trees.
Yeah, there was a tree here, a
Yep,
tree
two
here,
two
and a
trees
tree
up there.
here.
Yep. So then we went back to our engineer, got the new prints with the trees and the new landscaping. And that's when I got an email back saying we're at an impasse. And that's why we're here.
So that would have been submitted to Matt. Matt's not here. He's overseas right now. So whenever we're out at site, looking concerns that we're viewing the building here with the lighting and everything at night, the idea was, since Matt's like 6'6", adding the canopy trees here, once they're fully grown, they should have a 12-foot radius. And then a little bit of open site instead of putting additional arborvitaes or something in the middle that may die over time. Adding the fencing here was the idea of a 6-foot fence, which at the one time I mentioned to Mr. Hoover we would need to get a variance, but after visiting the site and seeing the building line here and the building line here, that he could safely put here without a variance. So the idea was to split the two trees with the fence along the edge of the pavement here and here, trying to eliminate site views from Lotes, because had this whole development happened not as a storage unit but more of a business, we more than likely would have had the building up here in the first place with the parking behind, and then all the screening would have been along the back end of the building. However, that's not what's happened because that's not what was originally proposed. So now we're trying to help him out to where he doesn't have multiple calls coming up to our property. I mean, not our property, but our offices, talking about the building quite frequently, is trying to get as much screening here along Lotes as we can to basically have this here for him to be left alone. And then we're not back at this meeting asking for more screening and everything else to happen. So I think that's just the gist of it. I don't know if that helps you understand a little bit more what our thought process was at the meeting on site.
And the impasse, I believe, is not agreeing to the fencing in that strip, right?
We'll put the fencing, I mean, if that's what you think is going to make this change, I'll put the fencing in the front. It's just basically you're looking at 5 or 6 sticks of fencing to the front, just sitting out in the middle. I mean,
What kind of fencing are you talking about in front? Like,
the neighbors have wood, so we'd like to stay consistent and match wood.
but I mean, is this 4 foot high open?
6 foot fence
6
is
foot?
what.
6 foot solid privacy.
Yeah.
And that's where the idea was.
You're talking about the front yard?
In the front at the edge of the pavement, right?
Like-
in that area right here. That would be the line that they would stay at.
What I didn't love about it was when the trucks come up to turn out of there, you're very close to a sidewalk. That's where people are going to be walking, kids riding. It's just, to me, I don't like the safety side of it, but I'll do whatever it takes, I guess, but.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate a point. We obviously want to work with you to adjust this. I think one of the frustrations that staff has experienced is that there was kind of a switch on the use of this property. And I'm not blaming
Yeah.
anybody. I'm just letting you know that how we would have allowed this site to be built out is way different than now how we're having to kind of try to fix it so it's not negatively impacting the neighbors. So that's, I understand
I
the
would love
frustration.
to unwind it and just sell the building back to the original owner and go do something else. Trust me, I spent more time dealing with this over such little things, but
Yeah.
we're still here, so.
Yeah, no, and I think we're getting to a good spot. So I think, you know what, I guess, other comments from.
I do want to say I appreciate you guys at the last meeting. I asked you, hey, can you turn off the lights until we get them adjusted? I went down there later that night. They were off. So I don't know if they stayed off. I haven't been keeping up on it, but I believe
I got a cease and desist order because we started trying to work on this to get it done right away for everybody.
Yeah.
So I do want to get it
Thank
resolved.
you for making
I
that
just
change, though.
have a weird feeling in my stomach after what's happened since the last meeting to now that we might not get there with even these changes. That's my feeling.
I'd like to hear from, are there any of the neighbors here to speak on this? Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't, I don't want to be presumptuous, but I'd like to hear your opinions on the changes and proposals.
Do you mind if I give you some, Matt said I could print something?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And if you can just make sure when you get back to introduce introduce yourself, please, and tell us where you're.
Thank you.
Thank you. You can, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay. My name is Susan Shook, and I live on the south side of Lote Street. First of all, I want to address the me calling the agriculture company. I wanted to let you know, can I read what I wrote to them? Okay. I said, I'm submitting this through the complaint form because this appears to be the appropriate way to request a review. Because I did call them, and they said I had to file a complaint. And I didn't want to file a complaint, but this is what I wrote. I said, I am not making a determination that a violation has occurred. I am requesting that the Ohio Department of Agriculture review the storage conditions of pesticides and/or fertilizers at this location to determine whether they meet applicable product label requirements and state regulations. The property appears to be located in close proximity to residential properties, which is why I am requesting that the storage conditions be reviewed for safety, security, and environmental protection. Based on what I've observed, materials appear to be stored in approximately 275-gallon containers outdoors, exposed to weather conditions and accessible. I am not able to verify whether storage conditions comply with product label requirements or whether access by unauthorized personnel is being effectively prevented. I understand that under Ohio Administrative Code 901:5-1111, bulk pesticide storage must be compatible with label storage conditions and must be secured by either locking the containers or preventing access by unauthorized personnel when unattended. At this time, I cannot determine that those standards are being met. The request is being made out of concern for properly handling and safety and compliance and not to create conflict. I would appreciate a review of the situation by the appropriate authority. I didn't file a formal complaint. I didn't know. And I did talk to the manager over there, and he said that's the only way we can do this is if you filed a complaint through the website. And that's what I did. So I'm not here to make conflict. I'm not here to oppose the business. I don't have a problem with the business being here. I do want the conditional, when we came here in February, he had another property that he said he was relocating to, and that all the trucks were gonna be relocated to that other business, and the gas tanks would be removed. So that has changed since then. And so what I am requesting is, like I said, under Findlay's codified ordinance 1161-15, the applicant must demonstrate that the proposed use will not be detrimental to the general welfare of the city or the neighborhood. Their screening requirements in Chapter 1161 were adopted specifically to mitigate the impact of commercial operations on adjacent residential properties. Adequate screening is essential to ensure this and that it is compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. The owner moved this business here in October of 2025, and the first conditional use meeting did not occur until February 12th of 2026. And we're now 2 months beyond that meeting, and the owner is opposing the very screening measures intended to protect the surrounding residential neighborhood. The owner chose to begin operating the business before demonstrating that the impacts to neighboring residential properties would be adequately addressed as required under the conditional use standards in the Findlay zoning code. This is not the owner's first business venture, so there should have been a clear understanding of the importance of zoning compliance, buffering requirements, and neighborhood compatibility before operations began. At the last like I said, he planned on moving them. And I respectfully request that the Planning Commission require the following conditions: that the side light, if you can go back to the picture on the side light with the gas tanks, it's shining into Joe's backyard. And I did talk to Joe, not that side, the west side, I'm sorry.
Can you go to that night picture? Is it on there?
Yes, the night picture. See the lights where they're shining onto the gas tanks? They're not shining down to the ground. They're shining into Joe's backyard. And I request that those be, shielded or something so they are not, I don't mind the light just so it's not going into his backyard. He said he can't even sit in his backyard in the evening because the lights are shining in his yard. I'm also asking instead of a 6-foot, that an 8-foot vinyl fence put in, because those trailers that he puts up that are right there, they are, I believe a 6-foot's not gonna cover that. So I would like an 8-foot. And I'd like the fence to be vinyl, not wood, because of, and white, because I think it would mitigate with the neighborhood better. And I'd like the, okay, so let me go into here. And it would be a clean, it provides a light-colored fence, provides a neat, well-maintained appearance. It blends better with the surrounding homes. And the owner's building is gray with the white garage doors. I just thought it would just blend nicer. And all trucks that are, so when he parks too, when the fence is up, so that they are just parked in line with the fence. So, because I noticed that they pull up past the grass area, so just that way, we just can't, the visual impact is lessened. I'm also asking that the gas tank and the trash containers are fully screened from public residential views, and that they all the screening matches. I'm not asking to put a wood fence up in the front and then a vinyl around. I want everything to match because, you know, we're in a neighborhood. I don't know about the lighting photometric, if he's submitted that or not, but again, that was just that one light on the west side. I'm also asking that because we're already into, 8 months, we're into this since October. And I'm asking that this stuff gets done, give them 8 weeks to get this done. Because now we're 2 months past the meeting in February, and then we're going into, if we go into, give them, 60 or 90 days or longer, we're gonna go into a year of, close to a year that we have had to deal with this stuff. And again, I don't have any issues with the owner or his business. I just want the screening to be put up, and that's basically it. I'm not asking, I don't think I'm asking anything above and beyond. I talked to Matt, I don't want those arborvitae trees, because you guys put those up by Shady Grove and that electrical station, and they all died. And now you have nice white vinyl fencing that's up there and that's all I'm asking. I'm also concerned now that this is gonna be put on the back burner, because he did have, he's dealing with all these multiple businesses like this, the storage facility and that. So to me, I don't know if he's putting too much on his plate or what, but, like I said, we're going on 8 months. I did talk to Joe. Joe does want the fencing up. I did talk to his wife, because she owns the building too. They do want the fencing up. I don't know, because I told Joe what was told, that he didn't want the fencing, and Joe said that he did not say that. He does want the fencing up. So I'm asking for it to match. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit that. Because who knows if if they sell the house, that fencing goes down later, the wood fence in the backyard. I just think the white vinyl would fit all the same color would look nice.
Very good.
Okay, well, thanks for your
Yeah,
time.
thank you for all of your comments. Appreciate it.
On the photometric plan that you submitted, you're not showing a light on the east or west. Is that your intent, is to remove the lights on the east and the west?
When we came here, there was no conversation about the lights at the other part of the building. It was just all
I
the
understand.
front ones. So we
but-
didn't put anything on.
No,
there.
I know you didn't put anything on there. I'm saying on the plan that you submitted to us, you were showing no lights on the east and west. And so your intent is to remove the lights that are currently there on the east and west.
No, we didn't have any intent to take those off or do anything with them.
Okay, so this is an incorrect plan though, in what was submitted.
Okay.
That's a question.
Yeah, obviously. We
Okay.
just focused on the front because that's where the conversation was. I didn't realize we had a concern or a problem with on the back, because there was only one light on the
Yeah.
sides.
No, I
So
get it.
we didn't do that.
It's hard to get an overall picture of the impact when it's missing pieces
Let
of
me ask you
information.
this too, were the lights changed out, or did you just shut some of them off?
We basically disabled all the rest of them.
Okay, so you still got a light that's not shielded to shine out into other properties then?
No, they shine down.
They're shielded. The ones on the side are shielded.
Oh, they
I
are?
think it's just because it's an LED light. I think a change that could possibly be made is something more softer of a light instead of the 10,000 megawatt LEDs that we have nowadays.
I've said from the beginning, the ones I didn't realize, the back where Joe's is, that was a complaint. It's always been the conversation of the front. As far as taking those off on the side or turning them off, getting rid of them, I don't have a problem with it. It just wasn't the conversation in the last
Well,
meeting.
For safety concerns, I wouldn't suggest him remove it. I would ask him if, are they possible to be changed?
I think the one on Joe's side is a fair request, because if you look at that light back there
It's
on his
bright,
fence,
yeah.
it's bright, but it's by the fuel tanks. For safety, I would prefer it on. But if we move it up there and we enclose it, I'd like that light on the other side, some light to stay.
That's what I was
for
asking. Can
safety.
you change the light bulbs on those?
We would have to change that entire packet, the wall
Okay.
pack.
I mean, that's something to look at, because those are very bright.
Yeah,
I
we've
think
changed the wall
if
pack.
you go to a typical commercial building, I'm dealing with another one on Tiffin Avenue. The same thing. It looks.
Oh, I know.
It's these LED lights, but if
Yeah.
you go back to the old, the yellow lights, I think that will help you out with the brightness on the sides itself and lower wattage if you have to change them.
Yeah, we can easily do that. We can go to a much lower one facing, yeah. And we can get rid of the one on Joe's side. If we move the tanks, I don't see a need for it over there. The one in the back, we'd have to look at, because I really paid no attention. I mean, when we purchased this building and we moved in there, she says 8 months. I didn't get anything on this. I submitted what we were doing at this place. We weren't trying to hide anything. And I didn't get anything until January. So it wasn't like 8 months ago I had an opportunity to start working on this. I didn't have anything until February to do. So it's been a relatively short time. For her, I'm sure it's been longer, but I wasn't involved in the building of this. I just bought it and, trying to fix it. And as far as the fence, I disagree with vinyl. There's nothing in that neighborhood that's vinyl. A wood fence will look more than nice. That's what Joe has running back there. So if I had to do wood to attach where we already have a permit, the front, and then wood around the tanks, it all complies with what's relevant in that neighborhood.
So I have a question about the fence. You mentioned in your commentary that Joe did not want one.
Well, I talked to Donna, and they never requested this fence from this onset. They weren't complaining. They haven't showed up to the original meeting, and they haven't showed up to this
No,
meeting.
I understand. They might not have requested it, but you said he did not want one.
Yeah.
Which is saying, so did you talk to him and he
I
said
talked to
no?
Donna.
Donna's his
wife.
His wife, okay.
Yeah, because she called me about buying that house.
Okay.
I think in discussions with Matt, our comment is that we would, even just regardless, we would like to see the fence on the side here as far away from the house as possible, so that it's not right on top of that window.
Yeah,
but we need to have some sort of protection there for the vehicle lights going into the residential area.
I completely agree. I just wanted to understand, if you had talked to him, he said, absolutely not, I don't want a fence, I think that's a different story, but what I'm hearing is that's not the case.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think Donna said that, and I guess, like I said, she's trying to get me to buy the house. So
yeah,
that's where we were with that. And like I said, we changed the direction of the vehicles in terms of the ones that are going out. We already have a permit, if I'm not mistaken, for that fence up there, correct?
There is a permit for the fence on the is that north side, west side of the property?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We do have one issued, and it's only for the stretch of last meeting it was just for the house part. It was the big part of what we wanted to have screened. So it's not like he's putting it all the way around his property.
Yeah, so what I would like to propose is, I agree with putting the wood fence up along the west side, and I would, go back and forth. I think white, would look nice, but I think because there is already the wood fence there, that it would be more consistent. So I would say the wood fence on the west side, I think putting the trees, the screening on the front. I would like to see probably, I think what the original one was multiple, like evergreens, like a, you know what I'm envisioning is like a.
Arborvitae, yeah.
No, I don't think arborvitae. I think unless I'm messing up my plants right now, which is a strong possibility, but like the evergreen trees that kind of all grow together and it creates like a wall of.
Yeah, those are arborvitaes.
Yeah. That also arborvitaes?
Yeah.
Okay, well, never mind. I always think of those as more flowering, but
Yeah.
that's why I'm not in botany or whatever.
So Matt switched it to 3 trees rather because of the ability to, as a canopy, they're 12 feet high rather than, the arborvitaes might not grow that high.
Okay, well, Matt is a better expert on landscaping than I am, and so we can, and I think the canopy trees would look nicer long-term. for sure. They just, try to get larger caliber ones so that they grow faster would be recommended. I agree with moving the tanks to the east side and having them padded and screened. That one I'm okay with the white vinyl fencing, because that does typically wear better when it is like a fence, or not a fence, but like a
Enclosure.
hinge, when it has the door to get in and out access when you're moving it a lot. That seems to be maintained better. And then obviously working on the lighting. I think, you just have too strong of light bulbs in there, unfortunately. So I think removing the one on the western side or significantly dimming it. And then I would say continuing to work to kind of decrease. Now, I think one thing that's important to note is when it's dark, any light is going to look strong coming off of those. I think what I look at is how far off the property line is it illuminating, right? That's the point of the photometric plan. So I think, if you're able to do more directional on your sign and then, maybe just lower the lights, but working with staff to figure out if it is just dimming them somehow or more directional, I think would be appropriate. Just being really mindful of trying to get the light off of your neighbors, which I appreciate you acknowledging on that west side that definitely is disruptive. I think then that would meet all of my concerns with making sure that the property is still functional, but also kind of more conducive to the neighborhood. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
If you moved the tanks to the east side, do you think you would still need a light on the west side of the building?
No.
No? Okay. Then I would say that would be, from a lighting perspective, just remove that light or turn it off completely.
Yeah, not a problem.
When we're talking landscaping, are we talking landscaping just here, or are we going to do this little projection down here too?
So Matt thought one tree in that corner and then 2 trees in this area.
Okay, along with some, just trees? I mean,
we submitted
with
more.
the fence. We were less concerned
with the
about
fence, okay.
With a fence,
Okay.
yes. With the C2 being abutting to a residential, having a level 2 landscape screening there is difficult. So substituting an 8-foot high fence along with the trees, we felt was appropriate.
Okay.
What's the current height of that other fence?
I think 6 foot.
We originally at the last meeting said 8 foot on this side, but because of this window right here, we said 6 foot because that's the top of that truck right there. But in the front, the idea was the 8 foot to give it more of, it'd be probably about right here in the view. That's probably about 8 foot, that trailer.
Yeah, I guess I'm saying I don't need the fence right there in the front anymore if we're doing the landscape and fixing the lighting issues.
Yeah.
I'm talking about on the west side, the existing fence appears to be a 6 foot.
6
Talking
foot.
about back there.
Yeah.
And I think keeping it consistent is going to look nicer than suddenly having an 8 foot. And I do think that, that screens appropriately, no matter how close you are, an 8 foot isn't gonna solve that either.
No, we were just talking about 8 foot in the front here and here.
Yeah.
6 foot along here.
Okay. Thoughts from the commission?
The other thing too, the ballards, the fence post, you'll want to talk with Inspector Shanice. You'll want to look on your way out. The concrete ballards that we have here is more what he's looking at for protection.
Yep, we're aware of what we have. Yep.
Personally, I think a short section 8 foot fence here might be a little heavy. 6 foot, I think, would be appropriate in that location, even though you're going to have the top of the trailer sticking above a little bit. You're not going to hide everything there, but you will create some screening with some landscaping in front of it, and it'll soften it up.
I just want to take an opportunity to echo Carrie and say thank you, and we appreciate that you purchased this problem and over the last couple months are making steps towards fixing it. That is not lost on us.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so I think the only item that I hear that maybe we're not an alignment on is fence or no fence in the front
front.
section. Because I was trying to think of like, okay, how could it look like nice signage or something? But I just feel like it's going to look out of place and draw more attention to it than
Yeah.
just landscaping and visibility. You know, he's correct about, you know, when people are approaching that sidewalk, you want to have clear sight lines as much as possible coming out of there.
I would agree that I'm not as much in favor of a fence along that front section, as small as it might be, if it's trying to screen the view or block the headlights. I don't think there's enough room to really hide everything, and it would just look out of place.
Yeah.
Heavier landscaping would be better.
Yeah, maybe some bushes could be nice to help with things that are at the height of, you know, the headlights, along with the trees would be beneficial. Okay, so I am going to, did you guys have something else? Was there other people that wanted to speak for or against it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me more about the fencing that the 6-foot fence putting up there? Because the fence would go not right up to the sidewalk. We're talking about putting the fence over on, I don't know, where's the pointer?
Over here.
Yeah, right where the truck is. So I don't understand where it's a safety issue because you still have the grass in between there. And, he has 3 trucks usually parked out there. It's not just one, and I'd like to have some type of buffer other than putting trees out there because we're still going to be seeing through there. I think if we put the fence up, a 6-foot fence I'm okay with, wood fence, but we also put nice landscaping on it, that's going to it's not like we're just putting a fence up and we're just seeing a fence. Put the fence up so it screens, it protects the residential neighborhood, but let's put the trees up and some nice landscaping up there to soften it, which is, I would like to do. I know there was a letter too that, I don't know if Matt got it, it was anonymous.
We don't take anonymous letters. People have to put their name.
Oh,
on things.
okay, yeah, well, I didn't know. Well, no, he wrote his name, but they were gonna submit it as anonymous here in the meeting. Okay, that's okay. So anyway, I just think that the fence, I would really like that, just for the fact that we do have kids that walk up and down the street, and it's gonna shelter the trucks with the chemicals. That's okay if agriculture said that's fine. I just would rather have something that would screen it more and just buffer it more soften it with the landscaping.
I appreciate that feedback. I think my concern is that putting a fence there is just going to look more out of place when you already have parking lots there. Additionally, if they're having equipment there and you're worried about kids going in there, I would be more concerned about a fence being there and them doing things behind the fence that would. So I think it's always a balance, and I think if we, our team monitors those areas, if we get forward and the screening is not appropriate on the landscaping, then we can work with him to address it. But I think let's start with the landscaping and the fencing.
So we're
along
only
the
gonna
side.
put 3 trees in there that's gonna block it, or because the arborvitaes would have caught, I know that we don't want that, but are we gonna put aged trees up there, like not put 3-foot trees that's gonna take 10 years to get?
So we do have some restrictions on the caliber of tree to make sure that they're mature enough. That's in our code that they'll work with. But we're gonna do their canopy trees, so they do grow much larger. They, aren't gonna be fully grown when they first get put in.
Oh, I know that, but
And that's why I was mentioning that it might be beneficial to put some other bushes or something along there to help create light buffer from the headlights level. But I think what we've kind of discussed is that the arborvitaes are actually not really going to provide as much long-term screening to the area as the larger mature shade trees would.
So what's the zoning's matured, what's the height for the zone?
I don't know it specifically off the top of my head, but I think that is consistent with what we would want to see on a commercial property. And it's actually above our standard landscaping, so we are trying to provide a little bit more buffer.
Okay.
Matt, in our comments, put 2-inch caliper trees to start with.
Yeah.
But yeah, so are we?
But Matt was talking about putting the fence in too.
Yeah. So Matt's idea was tree with the fence. So if we're not going with the fence, are we going back to tree, and then some additional arborvitae in between to
Yes.
provide additional visual block?
That's what I envisioned.
So
yeah.
like-
Okay.
Okay.
Those would be much more mature and tall at this point.
Yeah.
While
Okay.
the trees grow.
So what happens if they die? Are they the owner?
They're responsible for replacing them.
That's what I wanted to.
One thing we'll just have to check is let's run that past Shade Tree Commission to make sure that that density will not cause the trees to stunt.
Okay,
Because we do have regulations on our shade tree policy.
okay. All right, thank you.
Yep. Okay, so what I am hearing, I will make a motion and make sure I have all of the
Got it all?
condition. I think so. I think I've got it. All right, I will motion to approve application for conditional use CU-04-2026 filed by Simple Basics LLC to establish a contractor shop and associated outdoor storage at 126 West Lots Avenue with the following conditions. Remove the western light and work with staff to reduce the intensity of the other lights on the property. Install a 6-foot wooden fence on the western side of the property, consistent with the existing fence. Relocate the tanks to the eastern side of the property and with a full enclosure and appropriate safety ballards. Put the landscaping buffer along lots with the 3 shade trees and arborvitaes, as long as they are okay from shade tree perspective. Schedule your fire inspection and maintain hours of operation between 6 and 8. Does that all sound consistent? Okay.
Did you mention I'm sorry, maybe I missed it. You said the fence on the west side.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's all part of the standard code. Yep.
Well, the issue with the trash cans, they're on the other property. So I don't know if there's an agreement there with the other property for the trash can.
We have basically, he's allowed us to set our trash can over there, and
Can you have a discussion about getting that screened off? Because we would require a screening for the trash containers.
with
So if
that
you-
property owner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which can you make that happen?
Under the circumstances.
Well, he added a new dumpster to it, so. Okay, well,
Well, under the circumstances of where this problem all developed, maybe he should put an enclosure around it.
yeah, agree.
So we'll just make a note that work through the trash receptacle enclosure. You guys can work that out. I'm not getting involved in that. All we will document here is that if you have trash on site, it needs to be consistent with the current code. Did you have another question?
Yeah, we'll remove it. The operation of hours, we talked about this, our only concern is in the wintertime when there's a snow event. We will need to be in and out of there during that time, and nobody had a problem with it at that time. So I just would like to have that noted, that we're not coming back here later when there's a snow saying they operated at 9 PM or 10 PM. I just would like to see that.
Good point.
Yeah, I would be fine to amend because, there's plows out on the streets anyways, right? So, standard hours of operation, 6 to 8, and, as needed for snowstorms. Is that okay?
Yep, and those tanks in the back of the truck, by the way, that's just water. Okay, just want to make that clear. That's not chemicals for kids to be able to get in and do anything.
Very good.
Okay.
All right, I have made the motion, I think accurately. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Jacob, whenever you're ready.
We'll go with Mr. Imadi.
Aye.
Mr. Klinger.
Aye.
Mayor Murren.
Aye.
Mr. Trombley.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you. Appreciate
Yes,
it.
thank you all for working through it. Thank you, group. From our standpoint, this meeting is adjourned. Lots of good,
No,
dang
no,
it.
no, no.
Well,
One more.
okay, better be quick because I got to eat sometime today, and I got
know.
back-to-back
I've
meetings
got
starting in
pages full of
15 minutes.
comments on this.
And if folks got tickets because you were here, please bring them in and we'll waive them. Okay, let's move on, I guess, to item 9, application for zoning amendment ZA-07-2026 for a text amendment to amend the Findlay zoning code to adjust the permitted and conditional uses in the O1 office/institution, C1 local commercial, C2 general commercial, and C3 downtown commercial. CPC staff comments.
Regional Planning and the City of Findlay City Council Planning and Zoning Committee have been working collaboratively over the past several months to review and update the permitted and conditional uses in the zoning code. The proposed amendment has undergone review by the P&Z committee over the course of the last 2 months, and we're now presenting them to you guys right now. The updates include the addition of new definitions for uses such as outpatient and inpatient substance use disorder treatment facilities, private parks, and craft beverage facilities. In addition, the amendment refine and clarify permitted and conditional uses within O1, C1, C2, and C3 zoning districts. Collectively, these revisions are intended to modernize the code, provide clarity and consistency in administration, and better address land use scenarios staff has encountered during the development review process. The amendments are also establish clearer standards and definitions to ensure more predictable interpretation and application of the code. So we recommend approval of the application for zoning amendment ZA-07-2026 for a text amendment to amend the Findlay zoning code to adjust the permitted and conditional uses in the O1 office institution district, the C1 local commercial district, the C2 general commercial district, and the C3 downtown commercial district.
Discussion.
Going through this, I saw a couple of items, and that I'm not sure if it's in the right order here, but the permitted uses in O1 are also permitted in C1. All those uses can go together. What about the conditional uses? Is there a carryover of the conditional uses in any of these? So all conditional uses fall under specifically their zoning classification. Okay. I did see where you moved some of the permitted uses into conditional uses, and one of them was convenience stores. Where do convenience stores fall? Because there's no definition on convenience stores in the code. Does that fall into the small box?
Yeah, yes. It's a
Okay.
conditional use, yes. Convenience stores, if you recall, we had a couple come through last year that was trying to convert a 2-story duplex thing into a convenience store.
Yeah.
But they're popping up all over the city. I mean, there's requests to do them here and there, so it gives the commission a lot more control of what can and what cannot happen in small neighborhoods.
Yeah, so I'll just provide a broader context is one of the things that this update kind of happened because I requested it. I said, I would really like to, things that are, how can we just continue to tighten up and have more control to make sure our community is developing thoughtfully. And so some of these things were things like, oh, well, that doesn't even make sense. There was questions, about craft breweries. There was these convenience stores and, hey, we don't really, like last year we made the change so that gas stations are conditional uses in most places because it's like we were having a hard time denying gas stations that are just popping up all over the place. How do we balance free market from we don't want a gas station on every corner? Personally, that's my opinion. So that's why this was kind of just tightening some of that up.
So my only question is, so this will create some existing non-conforming uses, which is okay. If one of those sites gets redeveloped, they would need to then come back for a conditional use, correct? Like, yeah, they would, okay.
It doesn't carry over
Doesn't
with the
run
owner. No.
Doesn't run with the land,
Nope.
okay.
Other questions or comments?
Any No, doesn't look like there's any public.
Yeah, and there's been, all the public have left. We've
Most
our-
of the staff.
Our marathon meeting has everybody else stopped out to get food.
I'd make a motion to
Oh,
approve. Oh,
Yeah, I do have.
sorry.
Under the C2, under the conditional uses, you have bars, nightclubs, and taverns, but it did not add the craft beverage facilities like it did on the previous one. Yeah, under C1, conditional uses, it has a
But not
craft.
C2.
But on C2, it has just, it didn't carry that craft brewery over.
I believe Matt would be okay with adding that as a conditional
That's
use
a
in
good catch.
C2.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because then it stays consistent with the
Right.
code.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Because it's allowed in C3 as well, so.
yeah, so it was just missed
Yep.
maybe.
Good catch, Dan.
Man,
I will-
saving us.
Thanks.
note that.
Earning your keep.
Yeah.
Saving this headache.
Yeah.
6 months from now,
Yeah.
we'll try to open one on Tiffin Avenue.
Yeah, right.
All right, so we'll we'll motion to approve with the recommended amendment of craft establishments in the C2 as conditional, correct? Is what you were saying, Dan?
Yes.
Very good. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we got 2 seconds. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Whenever you're ready, Jacob.
Mr. Klinger,
Aye.
Mayor Mirren,
Aye.
Mr. Trombley,
Aye.
Mr. Embody.
Aye.
All right, thank you all. Have a good rest of your day. If you have a ticket, let me know.
The whole time.
Go get some food.